Today I have for you 60 DIY wreath ideas I know you're going to love, so let's get started. Love, love, love these for crafting. I brought home several. We're going to start with the whole one here. We're just going to remove everything from it, of course, and we're going to just open it up to make sure it's nice and open. Now we are going to cut off some strips. We're going to leave about 4 inches for now because we don't need it to be too long. We're going to take a little stack of it, set it to the side, and we're going to bring in one of these bead rings that you can find in the crafting aisle at Dollar Tree year round. These are gorgeous for $1.25. I'm going to start taking little bundles of the grass, and I'm just going to take about 4 or 5 of them and tie them around in between a couple of beads. Just tie it in a knot. That's it. I'm going to tie it in about 2/3 to between 2/3 and 1/4 of the ring. Once I have it completely attached, we're just going to try to fan them out a little bit and then cut off the excess. We're going to leave about 3 inches. Again, just start long and then cut as needed. It's better to cut a little bit and then cut more, just like I did here. I ended up cutting it to about 2.5 inches long, but you do what works best for you. Now we're going to take some greenery picks. These are from Walmart, but you can use the ones you can find at Dollar Tree. Walmart does have a great selection of greenery and flower picks, and sometimes it's a lot better quality and more bang for your buck, so check them out when you have a chance. All right, we're just going to take some jute string. We're just going to tie it around a couple of picks, one facing up, one facing down. The beauty of this ring is that you can use it either with the greenery and the florals towards the bottom or towards the side, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. This beautiful floral pick is from Walmart as well. I'm telling you, they have some beautiful choices. I'm going to cut a couple of the picks and again just place them one towards the top, one towards the bottom, securing it with hot glue as needed. And we're going to take one of the beautiful navy blue florals from the same pick and place it right there in the center. Now you're going to see here in a couple of pictures, one is facing towards the bottom like you see here. In the next slide, you're going to see it on the side. It's gorgeous. Love, love, love the way this one turned out. But let me know what you think down in the comments. And we are going to start creating some beautiful crafts with them. Now they come in 2 different tones, a darker and a lighter tone, and you're going to see me using both of them, sometimes even a mix of them. I'm going to put them in a basket and we're going to start building. We're going to create a frame. Now I'm going to use my ruler square to keep me nice and straight, especially in the corners, and you're going to see how I use that. I'm going to alternate the tones from lighter to darker. I just thought it added nice character, and I really love the way they look together. So here it is. We're just in the corner. I'm just going to use that corner of the square, and it worked really well. I'm going to make a rectangle, and then I'm going to create a second one around the original rectangle to create a thicker frame and also give it more texture and more of a design. When I got to the corner of the outside frame, I did have to cut a little bit, so I'm just going to mark and then use my miter shears to cut the block. Now it cut perfectly, and I'm just going to attach it with hot glue. I do have these miter shears in my Amazon store, and it is linked down below in the description box. I did use the shears a couple of extra times here in this project, as well as some other ones. So I'm just going to attach this last piece here, and look how gorgeous this is looking. I'm going to lightly sand the surface. This is just to smooth things out. Some of the hot glue oozes out, and you just want to remove that and making sure that it's as clean as possible. I'm going to take a piece of this foam from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue it on the left bottom corner of the frame. We're going to create kind of like a decorative frame / wreath, and we're going to add some greenery. This is greenery that I had on hand, but you can use any greenery from Dollar Tree that you want, or even florals. I'm going to add some going towards the top and then some going sideways at the bottom. Again, you can do whatever you want. You can also add more greenery on the upper right-hand corner, and that would be very pretty as well. To cover up the foam, we're just going to add some of this leftover ribbon from Dollar Tree. It's a burlap style, very neutral. We're going to wrap it around, secure it in place with hot glue, and then we're going to add a little pop of color with a beautiful yellow flower from Dollar Tree. We are going to poke a hole because this burlap and then the foam just made it a little hard. So poke a hole, add glue, and then add the flower. I'm going to add a couple of these greenery leaves that I had left over from other picks just to add a pop of color and a different color shade of green. Love, love, love the way this frame turned out. You can paint this frame. You can do whatever you want. The possibilities are endless. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I'm going to take this set of 4 frames that came together for $1.99. What a great deal. Now, they're not all the same. I did realize that once I opened them, but they're all very similar in color and size. One of them was a little smaller, but we're going to make it work. So I'm going to remove everything from them, including all the little tabs and the little hooks from the back that is holding that center because we're not going to need them. Now, I'm sure you've seen many windows design made with picture frames. I hope I can give you a new idea to make with them. Now, we're going to lightly sand it just to remove any dust, any grime, and just to sand down that sheen that they had. Wipe it really well, make sure that it's dry, and then we are going to attach them. The goal here is to attach them in the shape of a window, but you can do whatever you want. Now, because they are a little bit different in shape and size, we are going to make sure that the edges align, and I'll show you how that works. I'm going to use hot glue and E6000. You see how that's flush on one end? That's what we're looking for. We're going to do the same thing with the other ones, just hot glue them to each other, and then we're going to hot glue those two to the other one. Again, using a combination of E6000 and hot glue for a quick hold and permanent hold. We're going to flip it over, and then we are going to add some popsicle sticks for extra security. We're going to hot glue them. We're also going to staple them. Now that everything's nicely attached, we're going to give it a couple of coats of this Waverly chalk paint in the celery tone. Beautiful color, but you can use whatever color you want, of course. White would be beautiful, blue, teal, gorgeous. We're going to do a couple of coats, so we're just going to add this one, let it dry, and then we're going to add another one. Once it was dry, we're going to take some of this white nautical rope from Dollar Tree, and we are going to line the entire edge. So all around the frame, we're going to add this, and we're also going to add it in the center and crisscross it. We just want to add a little bit of texture, bring everything together, and then in the center, we just want to cover those openings and any hot glue or glue that you can see. All right, so currently at Dollar Tree, they have all of these summer picks. I love these. This is the first time me seeing these. They have a very nautical, beachy look. Love it. So I'm just going to use this one. It even has a little seahorse right on it. We're going to hot glue it, and we're also going to wrap it around with some of this natural tone nautical rope, again, from Dollar Tree. This is just to add a little bit of different tone and texture, but you can use the white nautical rope as well, or even ribbon. We're going to hot glue it and secure it to cut off the excess, and we're going to add another one of those starfish on top of the rope, as well as one there on the side. And look how gorgeous this is. You can add whatever other designs, florals you want to it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next DIY craft, I'm going to take another one of this canvas style frames. We're going to remove, again, everything from it, including the sawtooth. We're going to have to remove a lot of paper from this one. This one took me a while, friends. I'm not going to lie. But it's so satisfying at the same time because you don't know what you're going to find underneath these canvases. All right, this one has very different texture, very porous. I did sand it just a bit, and we're going to paint this one white. You know I love white. Now, I do like color here and there, but white is my go-to. But with this one, I just felt white was perfect for it. We're going to paint all around the frame and put it to the side to dry. Once it was dry, again, we are going to distress it, but don't stress. You can skip this part if you want. I just like a little bit of distress look. We're going to use one of the remaining little hooks from the previous project. We're going to add it to the back. Now these picks are gorgeous and they're from Dollar Tree for $1.25. They're nice and long and flimsy. I'm just going to start stapling them, starting at the bottom left corner and then bringing it up on the other side and then adding as needed to kind of make it a little fuller. But friends, we only used one pick. One. Gorgeous. Love it. So we're going to keep hot gluing, stapling as needed. Dollar Tree also has these picks, and I think these were more in the springtime. We are going to use the green tone ones, and we're just going to cut off little bundles of the picks and hot glue them in between the greenery. That way, it's just going to make it fuller, add a pop of lighter green color, texture. Love the way this one turned out. So simple, so fresh. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to go to the floral section. Now, recently I was there and I found these beautiful orange balls. I don't know what they are, but they were in the floral section. So I grabbed several bunches and I'm going to just push those leaves all the way to the top near the orange balls. Now we are going to just stack them together. We're going to bring in one of those plant hanging ropes. So we're going to loop one of the ends. This is what we're going to use to tie the arrangement. I'm going to thread the remaining rope right through the loop and just tighten it as needed. And you're going to see that I'm going to keep tightening, adding arrangement to it, keep tightening, and go all the way up. I want to create the shape of a carrot. Recently, I was on Pinterest and I saw an arrangement, kind of like a wreath that had the carrot shape. And I was like, you know what? I can make this with Dollar Tree items. So we're just going to keep arranging, stacking, and tightening as needed until we have the shape of a carrot. Now I'm going to bring in this greenery pick from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to fluff it up just a little bit. I'm going to cut off the excess stem that I don't need, and then we're going to push it on the opposite direction right on top. This is going to be the green portion of our carrot. We're going to use the same rope. We're just going to tie it around as needed and then cut off all the excess stems from all of the other orange stems. And then we're just going to continue to tie it and make a knot at the back. And that way everything's going to be nice and secure. Cut off the excess. And I did add a little dab of hot glue to secure it in place. I'm going to add additional faux boxwood. This is from Amazon. I'm just going to add a few little picks here and there just to fill it in a little bit. I felt like a little bit bare. And I didn't have another one of these Dollar Tree picks. So I'm just going to use this, stick them in there as needed until I kind of like what I see. I wanted to add a pop of like a lighter green color. Now I have these leaves again left over from another pick. I'm just going to add one here to the left side of the arrangement. And then we're going to make a very simple bow using burlap ribbon and this carrot themed ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm going to stack the smaller one on top of the burlap one, tie it in the center with some jute string, cut off the excess ribbon using the dovetail design, and then we're going to hot glue it right on top of the large leaf. And again, you can skip this part if you don't like bows. I just thought it needed a little something. I'm going to loop one more piece of that plant hanging rope, tie it in a knot, and this is what we're going to use to hang it. And look how adorable this is. I'm so glad I did this. We did not spend a lot of money, and let me tell you, this is gorgeous. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with this beautiful wreath form. It has a kind of like a tire kind of look. I'm also going to be using Rust-Oleum white spray paint. We're just going to take it outside. We're going to spray it a couple of times until it's nice and covered. I am going to place it underneath a fan to speed up the drying process. And this is what it looks like. So cute. We're going to take a pool noodle, which you can find during the spring and summer season at Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut off about maybe 7-8 inches off of it, cut open with the scissors one of the side, and then we're just going to slide it right in and secure it with hot glue. This is going to help me add some florals to the wreath form. It is bright green, so we are going to cover it just a bit using some burlap ribbon. You can use any other ribbon you want or fabric. We're going to secure it with hot glue. And then this netting kind of fabric, it's gorgeous. I got from burlapfabric.com a long time ago. I still have several yards left over. I'm just going to tie it around on that same area, going from the center, kind of going towards the top and the bottom. I am tying it with jute string. That way it blends in really well with the material, but it'll hold it in place. This greenery pick, it's gorgeous from Dollar Tree. It has long, very flexible greenery, and we're just going to attach it with hot glue in the pool noodle foam as well as jute string to tie it going upwards as well as going downwards. And again, it just works really well. It blends in very nicely, and then I can adjust it in the angle that I want. We're going to add some of these greenery and yellow tone picks also from Dollar Tree. We're just going to start adding them here and there to fill in a little bit. I ended up having to add another whole pick just to add fullness, and you'll see that here in a minute. But I'm just going to start adding some of the picks, again, adding with hot glue. This is the orb we're going to be using. It's a beautiful navy tone. I'm going to cut off the excess jute string from the top, and then I'm going to add some towards the kind of like in between the netting. That way we can attach it around the wreath form and it's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to add, here's that extra pick, and I am going to add another one actually in just a bit, just to kind of, again, make it very full. Dollar Tree also has these starfish. They're plastic. They come in a set of 3. I'm going to take a couple of them. One of them's going to go right next to the orb. We're going to hot glue it in place. The other one's going to go a little bit lower, and again, we're just going to hot glue it in place just to kind of fill in and give it that coastal beachy look that I'm going for. And here's what I realized, that I just needed an extra pick from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to add hot glue and then just place it again right there inside that foam. That really filled it in. All right, these sand dollars are also there at Dollar Tree. They come also 3 in a pack. I'm just going to use one of them. We're just going to nestle it right there on the top portion and attach it with hot glue. Dollar Tree also has these pieces. I've never seen them before. They have either a sand dollar, a seashell, or a sailboat, and they have these little wooden pieces hanging from it. I'm going to take the wooden pieces. I'm just going to attach it towards the bottom. I just want to add a little bit more texture and color to the wreath, and then we're going to put the sailboat right inside, right there, underneath the florals and underneath the orb. This is just going to be gorgeous. I'm going to hot glue it in place. It's not that heavy. I'm going to make sure that greenery is popping through right there. Stunning. I love it. I put it first because it's my favorite from today. Love the design. What do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with these carrots. Look how cute they are. I grabbed 3 because I knew exactly what I wanted to do with them. I removed the tags, and then we're going to take one of these beautiful bunny style wreath forms from the Dollar Tree Plus. It already has the moss on it. It was $5, and what a great deal. We're going to add these greenery picks to the top. These are from Walmart, but you can certainly use the ones you can find at Dollar Tree. I'm going to just stick them in side to side, hot gluing it in place. That way, if it's going to be outside in the elements, it's really going to hold. I'm going to keep this one for my living room, and I'm so excited. But you can definitely make these and sell them for a good profit. Dollar Tree has many styles in ribbon, and I'm going to use 3 of these. Now, one of them is from the fall collection, but I thought it would look great with this design. I'm going to make a very large bow using this green one, and I like to loop it as an awareness ribbon, scrunch it in the middle, and then we're going to tie it with some jute string. We're going to add a lot of kind of a long jute string because we're going to add 4 bows to this bow. So the first one's going to be this large green one. Then we're going to move on to the orange one. Same thing. Scrunch it in the middle. This one's going to be a little smaller than the green one. Again, scrunch it, tie it with the remaining jute string. For the 3rd and 4th bow, it's going to be using the same ribbon. It's going to be this beautiful carrot style ribbon. And we're just going to make 2 loops, scrunch it in the middle, tie it with a jute string, and one of them is going to be just a little larger than the other one. This is just going to create a lot of bulky, beautiful ribbon and just fill that middle section in. Of course, you want to fluff as needed and then place it right in the center of everything. Bring the jute string to the back and then just tie it in the knot. You can also hot glue it if you want to do that as well. Now, I am going to cut the ends of the ribbon using a dovetail design, but you can do whatever you want, but do cut them and make them somewhat similar so that it brings everything together and it looks nice and professional. The stakes are gorgeous for this design. We're just going to dent it using my wire cutter because they're too thick to cut with my wire cutters. But once you dent it and then you pull them apart, it just snaps and it's so easy. I'm going to add some hot glue to the end and just place one on each side, and then the third one's going to go towards the top. You can add as many as you want. I think 3 does really well when you're making arrangements or wreaths, so this is why I chose 3. Again, we're just going to dent it, snap it, and hot glue it in place. This is where you can add whatever else you want. I kept mine like this. You can add something to the center of the bow, but I love the way it turned out. I think it looks full, festive, perfect for Easter. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to take one of these foam wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. I love having these on hand all the time. They're so great for crafts. We're going to take this burlap ribbon. Now, these are just some pieces I had leftovers from an event that I did a couple of years back. And I had it in the Ziploc bag and I said, you know what? I'm going to use it today. Today's the day. All right, I'm going to just wrap the entire thing. You can choose any ribbon, any fabric, anything you want. I wanted to keep it kind of in the neutral tone, so we're just going to wrap it around, securing it with hot glue. I'm using my little silicone finger protector. This is just going to really protect my fingers. And once it was completely covered, we are going to take this cute bunny stake. Oh my word. I kept saying to myself, look how cute. Oh, he's so stinking cute. Anyways, so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut off the excess steak by denting it and then snapping it. I did cut off enough, or I left enough so that it goes through the foam, but not all the way through. So we're going to use my small screwdriver, make a hole, add hot glue, and then add the steak. And just push him in all the way in. Now he's nicely attached. All right, we're going to take this greenery pick again from Walmart, but use whatever you have on hand. We're going to make little holes with my screwdriver and then add the greenery, keeping that circular shape towards the top. And I did the same thing with several greeneries. Again, this is one of those things where you can keep adding as much as you want. I didn't add any florals, but I am going to add some moss right there towards the front and just kind of shape it and hold it until you kind of see what you want. Dollar Tree carries these little tiny crafting style carrots. I love their size. I just don't like the top portion, and I've seen me do this before. We're just going to remove it and add this faux boxwood. Just going to add a little bit of hot glue and place it right on top. This is just going to make it nicer, but you don't have to do this. You can skip this part if you'd like. We're going to place these right on the front, right there on top of the moss, and then we are just going to hot glue them in place. Now, I didn't add any ribbon towards the top, but you can do that if you want. But look how stinking cute. Oh my word. I love these stakes. Let me tell you, they are up there with one of my favorite items to craft with. Let me know what you think of this one. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with one of these wood rounds from Dollar Tree. Again, I use these all the time. These are one of those staple items that I keep on hand because they're so fun and versatile. We're going to remove the tag and we're just going to give it one pretty good coat of Waverly chalk paint in the white. And then, of course, we want to set that to the side to dry. Now, you can pick any color you want, my friend. Just pick whatever color goes with the design you are wanting to go with. Now, we are going to sand it down just a bit once it was dry to smooth it out, and we are going to wipe it really well. I want to give this a plank look. Now, you can skip this part if you want, but I do like that style, so I'm just going to use a permanent marker and a ruler just to make stripes all the way down to the bottom. To mute them down just a bit, I'm going to take some white paint and my stenciling brush. Just going to dry brush some white paint over the lines. This is going to mute them just a little bit so they're not so bold and in your face, and I think it's softened everything. The stake we're using for this one is this beautiful welcome farmhouse style truck. How cute is that? We're going to remove the stake by simply twisting and turning it until it comes off. Now you can also use pliers or like I used my wire cutter and just pull it off as it starts to loosen up. I'm going to dry fit it kind of where I want it to go and tape it with some masking tape. And then we're going to take a calendar. Dollar Tree carries these calendars all the time during the first time of the year. And I'm going to take this Beautifully Life design and rip it off. We're going to cut off the X's and actually separate the words from each other because we are going to trace them onto the design. You can use your cutting machine if you have one. Now, I always strive to give you ideas on how to do it, even if you don't have a cutting machine. But if you have a cutting machine, oh boy, the possibilities are endless. But here we are. We're just going to tape the beautiful portion of it and to the top, and then we're going to place carbon paper behind it or underneath it. I'm going to use the tracing tool that it comes with, and we're going to trace the words. Now, you can find this carbon paper. You can find the tool as well as my cute little gold scissors on my Amazon store. If you want to check that out, it is always linked down below in the description box. All right, now I'm going to use some paint markers that I do have on my Amazon store as well. One's going to be red and the other one's going to be black. I'm just going to start filling in the words and just make them nice and pretty. Again, we're going to do the beautiful in the red and the life in the black. Now I want to attach the farmhouse truck, so I'm going to use 2 separate glues. We're going to use E6000 for a permanent hold and then hot glue for a more quicker hold. Then we're just going to place it right there where we originally wanted it. Now I want to have this have like a 3D effect. So I'm going to take some of these flowers from Dollar Tree and I'm just going to start hot gluing them over the flowers of the truck. I just think this added character, texture, and just so beautiful. I want to be able to hang this piece on the wall, so we are going to add rope. This is nautical rope from Dollar Tree. We're going to hot glue it to the back as well as tape it so it doesn't fray on us. In the front, we're going to add some faux knots, and I'm sure you've seen me do this before, but I'm going to show you again for those of you who may not know what that is. I'm going to make a knot, a very, very tight knot, remove the excess rope from the top and the bottom, and then we're going to hot glue it right where that rope meets, right there. And now it looks like it's hanging from the knot, but it's not. We're going to do it again. We're going to make a very simple knot, tie it very tightly, remove the excess rope from the top and the bottom, and hot glue it over right there. That's how easy it is, how fun, and look how beautiful this looks. I love the color. I love the farmhouse style. I love that we added those flowers. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with this wire wreath form. It's in the shape of a cross, and we're going to wrap it using these nautical ropes from Dollar Tree. If you want to wrap them with the plant hangers, go for it. They were just a little too thin, and I think it would have been a little bit too many of them. So using this rope really worked. I'm just going to start wrapping it around. I started at the top, but you can start wherever you want. Hot glue as needed, but you do not need it in every turn. So keep that in mind. I just did it until I ran out of rope and everything was covered. I am now going to bring in one of the plant hangers, and this one has a more of a brown shade. I think it's gorgeous. It would be perfect for plants, but you know me, I got to find ways to use it in different ways. So we are going to untie all of the knots, like all of them, and there were many. Then I'm going to take 2 ropes at a time, and we're going to make more knots, but this time we're going to knot them about 7 to 8 inches apart from each other. And then once they were knotted, I'm just going to wrap it around the cross. I started on the back of the cross by hot gluing it and then just went around and around, leaving around the same space between each round so that it matches. I did it from the bottom to top and then side to side. Now it's time to add some foam. These foam balls are from Dollar Tree, of course, and I'm just going to cut one in half and then poke 2 holes with my small screwdriver. Then we're going to bring in one of the zip ties from Dollar Tree, thread it from the flat side around the round portion all the way to the back again. Then we're going to place it right there in the center in the front of the cross, flip it over, and then zip tie it nice and tight. And of course, we want to cut off the excess. Now we're ready to add some florals. This sunflower is from last year's stash from Dollar Tree. It came in a little pot. I removed it from the pot. I'm going to keep the leaves on them, so I'm just going to push them right back in Add hot glue to the center and then push the flower right there, right in the center. Then I'm going to add different greenery. These are just some that I had on hand from other picks left over. Just going to add them here and there just to add a pop of color, texture, and just make it bigger so it goes well with the wreath form. I got to say, I really love the way this turned out. I'm going to add these leaves right here, again, left over from other picks. And this is absolutely stunning. Oh my word, it's so large. Love the neutral tones. Love that we can use it for Easter, of course. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. We're going to start with this small little wreath form you can find at Dollar Tree year-round. They come 2 in a pack. We're going to use 1. We're also going to use this burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree as well. We're going to wrap the entire thing with it. It's basically just hot glue in the beginning, wrap it around, and then hot glue at the end, cutting off any excess. We're going to start with one of these little plastic ones. They're so easy to work with. It's a perfect size for this tiny wreath. We're going to drill a couple of holes right on the top of one. It's actually going to end up being the bottom. We're also going to poke a couple of holes on the burlap, and then we're going to use a zip tie to attach the little pot. We want the little pot to look like it's pouring, like it fell and it's pouring out onto the wreath form. We're going to tie it from the back through the pot, through the back again, and then tie it in, secure it in, and cutting off any excess. I did add a little bit of hot glue to make sure that it's going to hold the position that I wanted to. So a little bit of hot glue went a long way. These little foam balls you can find at Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut off 1/3 of it. I'm going to use the size that is bigger. Add hot glue to the flat size, and then we are going to add it to the inside of the pot. This is going to create a place where we can then add some florals. We're going to cover it up with some Spanish moss. This is from Amazon, but you can use the one from Dollar Tree as well. I'm going to start adding some florals. This is where you can add whatever you want. I wanted to keep it more in the neutral colors, but I think adding bright colors would really work beautifully. I'm going to start adding smaller picks inside the pot and then start adding longer ones with a rounded shape to keep that round shape from the wreath. And just going to keep adding until it looks nicely all the way to the left side of the wreath. Although you can leave it as is, I am going to add some of this bright green faux boxwood. This is a little swag I created for another project. I kept it. I'm going to reuse it for this one. I'm going to add some smaller picks here and there. This is just going to add a pop of brightness and color to the entire arrangement. Add the larger one right in there. Nobody has to know. But look how super cute this looks. I love the color scheme, but again, bright colors would be gorgeous. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I am going to be spray painting this bicycle wheel wreath form from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to place it right here next to the other project, and I'm going to start spray painting it with the same spray paint as Rust-Oleum. It's like a craft and hobby one that I found at Walmart, and this one's actually a gloss. I usually use matte, but for today's project I'm going to use gloss. So I'm going to slightly spray it. I actually don't want full coverage on this one. So I'm kind of just gonna lightly spray it because I do want to still see a lot of the black poking through. Actually, I think that's enough. So you see how you still see a lot of the black? That's just where I'm gonna leave it, and then I'm gonna flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Once it was dry, I brought it inside, and now it's time to add some greenery. These are some greeneries that I got at the Dollar General. I want to say it was last year or the year before. I've had them for a while. I kind of tore apart all the little branches off of the pick, and I'm just going to separate them into 2 bundles, as well as this little grassy one, because we want to create like a little wreath, like a hanging wreath, but I want the greenery and the flowers to be on the bottom of the bicycle wheel wreath form. So we're just going to kind of bunch them up there together. And I'm going to show you a little trick here. If you take some Dollar Tree jute twine or any jute twine, you make a little loop on the end. Then what you can do is you can tighten this to, or the florals to the wreath form by simply looping the end of the jute twine through the loop or the little hoop you make. and then you just tighten really tight, and then you just keep tightening all around, because I used to always have to like make a little knot, and it just became like a hassle. And then I thought, if I make a little loop here, it'll be so much easier to just tighten and then just keep going. So that's what I did. Actually did this twice to tighten some other greenery with this lamb's ear. So I'm going to add the lamb's ear here. There you go. These are from Walmart. You get 2 in a little bundle for 98 cents. And again, I'm just going to wrap it around, tighten it, and secure it with some jute twine. And then I'm going to add some more of those peonies that I really love. I get these on Amazon, and I do have them on my Amazon store as well. I'm going to add a smaller one to the right side and then a larger one to the left side. And then it's time to add a rope to the top so that we can hang the wreath, even though you can hang it straight from the wreath form. I like having the option of hanging it. So I'm just going to loop it here. I honestly don't know what I did here with the knot. You just basically just try to knot it as best as you can so it looks pretty and it's secure and evenly centered on the wreath form. So that's it. I did make an extra knot in the top just to kind of secure it in place, and then cut off the excess rope and made another knot on top so that it can be hung. And that's it for this one. I think it's another beautiful one. If you have this wreath form available at your Dollar Tree for $1, is such a great deal. It's gorgeous. You can spray paint it gold, black, whatever you may want, and you can use any flowers you already have at home. I think it's stunning.
To what used to be home, passing by those little towns I know so well, stopping for gas and then
DIY, I am going to start with this ring wreath form from the Target dollar spot. It was only $3 and I love it. I'm going to create a wreath using a canvas here or a canvas wreath using drop cloth here. And I have had this drop cloth now for so long, ever since like the Christmas season. And I have some leftovers, so I am going to use 6-inch wide piece. Using my Cricut, I cut out the word welcome, and I am going to stencil it right on the drop cloth using a makeup sponge and Waverly chalk pen in the ink. I'm going to place it right in the center, and I am going to secure it on the back. I'm going to use hot glue. The key here is that I want it to be snug enough where it's not going to fall off, but at the same time not looking stretched. So I'm just going to hot glue the one side first. Any side is fine. I'm just going to hot glue it just so that it is hot glued. And then when I'm doing the other side, I am going to stretch it just a bit more so that it is snug and it's not going to, again, slip off. For extra, I guess, security, I'm just going to add some hot glue right where the drop cloth as well as the ring meet in each corner. That way, it just adds a little bit more security. Now, I'm hoping this wreath is in a covered porch. I'm actually going to sell this one. So, but we'll see. Anyways, I am going to take these florals and I am going to wrap around in the center, joining them together with some jute twine. And then I'm going to hot glue it to the left side of the welcome word. And I'm also going to take some floral wire and I am going to tighten it on the back. So I'm just going to thread the wire. I'm going to do it 3 times or in 3 spots. I'm going to thread it just like you see here, and I'm going to tighten it really tightly in the bag, again, just to make sure it's nicely secure. And then I'm going to take a peony. This all came in the same pick, in the same flower bush. And I'm just going to thread. I'm going to add hot glue, and then I'm going to thread the stem right through the drop cloth. And then on the back, I'm going to bend it just again secure it a little bit more. But of course it has a ton of hot glue, so I don't think it's going anywhere. To cover up the wires from the back, I'm just going to take another piece of drop cloth and hot glue it to the back, making sure it looks nicely finished. And then I am going to take some Dollar Tree, or not Dollar Tree, Dollar General ribbon, and I'm going to place it or loop it in the top so that it can be hung. And that's it for this one. A beautiful, beautiful wreath. I love the way this turned out. So chic, so boutique style. And yeah, I may keep it, but I think I am going to sell it. For this next DIY, I'm going to take this 1 by about 8 inches or so. It's not an actual pine board. This is just a piece of scrap wood that was at the hardware store. It was a longer piece and I just cut it to this size. It's about 18 inches long. I'm going to place it right on top of this wreath form that I got at Michael's. It is absolutely beautiful. It's golden tone. It was originally $14.99 and it was 50% off. So I got it for about $7.99 and I thought it was perfect. I'm going to place it right where I think I want it, and then I'm going to flip it over and staple it. I'm going to heavily staple it because I do not want to attach anything to the other side. I want it to look clean and not have any glue or any wire hanging out. So once I have it attached, I am going to stencil the word welcome using a reusable stencil that I got several months ago. Oh gosh, probably over a year now. And I'm just going to use some Waverly chalk pen in the ink tone and a sponge wedge for makeup.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors.
Now it's time to start placing some florals. These beautiful blue, I think they're hydrangeas, I got from Walmart. They were about $6 each. They're a little bit more on the expensive side, but man, are they worth it. They're so beautiful. I'm going to place 2 of them. So I cut off most of the stem, and as you can see, I just placed it there through the mesh, bent it, and then with some crafting wire, I am going to just secure it in the back. And I'm going to do the same with a second flower as well as some greenery that I got at home several months ago. And I do not want to cover the entire golden mesh. I really like that look and that style. So I'm going to keep it on the light side when it comes to florals. But once I add the greenery, we'll be done with this one. And I think this one is absolutely breathtaking. I love that golden tone in contrast with the blue flower. It's just beautiful.
Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others. You set my world on fire. You're my heart's desire. I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you, just wanna be with you till we grow old. Please tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my world on fire. You set my world on fire. I don't know what I'd do without you. You make me smile, what is it that you do? My life was great till you
For this DIY, we are going to start with this grapevine wreath that I recently thrifted at the Goodwill. I am going to remove all the Christmas decoration that it had on. Even though they were okay, they were pretty old and dated, and they just were a little too messy. So I want to take everything off and we are going to give it a brand new look, very elegant and very grand. So clean it up, remove everything, making sure that anything that is loose will come off. So I'm just shaking it off, and it's pretty old wreath. You can tell that it's been around for a while, but it still has a lot of life in it. I'm going to take this magnolia leaf pick. It's from Hobby Lobby. It was originally $19.99, but I got it at 40% off. So I thought it was a pretty good deal. The leaves are stunning. This is such a realistic pick. I love it. It's actually my last one, so I have to go back and get a few more because I really love the way they look. I separated or cut off every branch off of it, and now I'm going to start just placing them inside the grapevine. Some are going to be facing upwards and some are going to be facing downward, but they're all going to be kind of like towards the right side of the wreath. And so when you're making a wreath, if you have made one, you know that you often have to decide where you're going to put the decorations. Is it going to be all over the wreath? Is it going to be on the bottom, on the top, on the left, or the right, or half of it? So in this case, it's going to be more on the right side. So I am placing the leaves where they kind of fall to upwards and downwards, but they're all going to meet in the center. I am not going to take these, have no clue what they are. I still don't know what they are, and I should just read the little tag, and I didn't even read them. But they look like berries or olives. I'm not quite sure what they are, but they're from the Dollar Tree. And I separated, again, just little branches off of the one pick. And I'm going to take 3 little branches and start just hot gluing or adding some hot glue to the bottom and just placing them where I think it's going to be nicely to the eye, I guess. And I'm going to place 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. I am now going to take this white sunflower that I think it's stunning. I want to say I also got it at Hobby Lobby, and it was a little longer ago. And I just cut off the remaining stem that it had, and I added a lot of hot glue, and I'm literally just going to push it down right there in the center, and that's it. This wreath is by far one of the most beautiful wreaths I've ever made. I am so in love. I'm not sure if I'm going to sell it in my booth. I may keep this one because I'm just so in love with it. For this next DIY, I am going to take this picture frame that I thrifted actually quite a while ago. And I'm just going to start by painting the inner rim, so that darker rim portion, in a solid white, and I am using Rust-Oleum chalk pen in the linen white. I am now going to take a chippy brush and I'm just going to start dabbing it into the paint and dry brushing the remaining portion of the frame. So what's remaining in the dark gray. And at first I was just going to do a few little brushes here and there, but I ended up adding more because it just felt right. It just didn't feel like it was quite finished. So I just added layer upon layer and even did it like a sideways motion, and it just added a lot of texture and a lot of more coverage. I added a little bit heavier even in the corners just to add a little bit of dimensions. I just love doing that sometimes when I'm dry brushing or adding texture. What I'm doing here is I am blending the full white inner rim with the dry brushed one. It was just too much of a contrast between each other, so I'm just going to blend in where those two where the solid white and the dry brush meet. I'm just blending it so it's a little softer in between one to the other. And then I decided to add a little bit more of dry brush right on the corners and the edges, just to, again, just adding until I saw what I liked.
I have never felt home till you entered my door. And from that moment I knew that a home is whatever.
Once I had the frame where I wanted, I am now going to take this pick from Hobby Lobby. Actually, not Hobby Lobby, it was Walmart. And I'm going to remove some of the stem because it's a little long and thick. And then I'm going to widen it. So just split it into two sections. And one, I just decided to do the longer portion of it to the bottom of the frame. And then the ones that were a little shorter, but they're about the same, to the other side. I'm going to add a lot of hot glue here in the corner, and I'm going to place the stem right there. However, I am going to use some ribbon to make sure that it's secured in place. So once I have it in place where I want it, I'm going to hot glue the ribbon to the back of the frame, and I'm just going to wrap it around a few times until it is secure. And now I am just making sure that all the leaves and all the branches are where I want them. So I'm just moving them forward or sideways or whatever I see that I want to see on this decor. So now I'm going to take these leftover picks that I've had from other projects. They're not the same, but they do have the same color scheme. So I am going to use the little berry kind of style on the bottom portion of the frame, and the one with the flowers here, I am going to hot glue and place it towards the side of the frame. This is just going to add a little bit of color, and I just think it just looks beautiful. And then I'm going to take this hydrangea. Is that a hydrangea? I think so. From Hobby Lobby, and it's in the lighter tones, like a beige color. I removed all the stem and I added a whole bunch of hot glue, and I'm just going to hot glue it right there in the corner just to tie everything together, and I think it looks stunning. This is so elegant. It is so fresh looking, and I think it would be beautiful in any home decor. DIY, I am going to take one of these Dollar Tree wreaths, and I'm just going to tie a couple of just knots here on one of the sides, or in this case would be the top of the wreath form. And this is because I'm going to be cutting the wreath. So I'm going to be cutting one end, and I don't want everything to come undone. So I just want to tie it a few times on each side of the cut that I'm going to be making.
To be home, passing by those little towns I know so well, stopping for gas and then I'm behind the wheel again.
And then once I had it cut, I just stretched it out just a little bit. I'm not looking for it to be completely flat, of course, because it's going to be a wreath form, but I want it to be open. I saw a wreath recently at Hobby Lobby. It was my first time walking into Hobby Lobby in years, and I was so overwhelmed with so many beautiful things, and I saw a wreath there that looked very similar to what I am going to be making here. So I am going to wrap the ends of each end with some nautical rope from the Dollar Tree, and as you can see, I added a strand right as I was like halfway through. That way I have something to hang the wreath from, and you'll see it'll all come together. So I'm just going to hot glue and wrap around as needed, and then when I get to the end, I am just going to wrap it around the nautical rope that is vertically, just so that I can finish it off, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side.
Chase my soul, I'm driving to get away, running through
And look how beautiful that wreath is already looking. So I'm going to take these picks. These are from the Dollar General, and I believe they're like eucalyptus. And I'm just going to start, I literally pulled every strand apart, and I'm just going to start placing them. I'm not even going to hot glue. I'm just going to stick it right in, and I'm going to just focus on the bottom of the wreath, kind of like circling up towards the sides. Once I had everything where I wanted, I did add some wire. This is just so that everything stays put and it doesn't fall downwards with gravity. And then I'm going to place some of these beautiful, it's like a vibrant, like a reddish orange color, and I just love them. They're from the Dollar Tree, and of course they're just $1 for the pick. So I cut off all the flowers from the pick, and now I'm going to do the same thing. Just press them in until I see what I like. And we are just about done, guys. And I'm so excited I started with this one because it is just beautiful. I love the way it looks. I love how it has a farmhouse, yet very, almost very tropical to it. I just really love the way it turned out. All right, for this next DIY, I'm going to take one of these Dollar Tree Easter welcome signs. I have used them over and over again because I bought so many of them. I just love the size of the board. And I'm going to remove the little tails as well as the first, like the portion that has the artwork. I am not going to take this crafting paper that was sent to be my Massey during my last challenge. She got it on Amazon. And I'm just going to, I sprayed it with some adhesive spray from the Dollar Tree. And then on the bottom portion, I'm going to use the scrap leftover piece right there and just add it through using some tacky glue.
Push all the limits with you right now. So watch your feelings, the city's screaming, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now. People talk and tell what you wanna hear now, but they all disappear, they will let you down. So
I am not going to take this wreath form from Target Dollar Spa. I'm going to remove the saw claw hook on the back, and then I'm going to just leave it like this. You're not going to see a lot of it, but you will see a little bit of it, enough where it's going to add a little bit more detail, and it's also going to add a little bit more thickness to the board, because I'm going to be stapling some greenery here in a little bit. So I'm just going to hot glue it to the center of the board. And now, as you see here, I'm going to start stapling literally pieces of greenery that I have had here for a while. Some random pieces, and what I was looking for here is I wanted it to have like a wreath form that was very random, that was very almost like naturally grown out in the fields, and it's just been tangled up with all kinds of other flowers and things. That's my description, my official description for this wreath. And so, yeah, I'm just going to speed it up like you see here, because I am literally just adding and stapling until I see what I like. And that's it for this one, guys. I did add that claw hook to the back of it so I can hang it, but I think it turned out so unique, so beautiful. Let me know what you think of this one down in the comments.
we better stick together, let's come whatever, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now. We only need the two of us together. I need all
going to upcycle this wreath I got at the Habitat for Humanity for $2. Such a great deal. I love these grapevine wreaths. They are so versatile, and I just love the rusticness and the farmhouse style they have. I'm going to use one of these picks. I got these, I believe it was at Walmart. I'm going to pull it all apart as you saw there, cut every little branch so that it's a separate one, and we're going to start hot gluing them to the left side of the wreath. Now, you've seen probably a million wreaths being done, and this one is going to be a little different though. We are actually not going to add any bows, no ribbons, nothing. Say what? I know, I even surprised myself, but I wanted it to have a very natural look. I wanted to look like it was made by nature itself. So we're just going to start placing and hot gluing all of the branches. One's facing bottom, one facing to the top, making sure everything's spread out as naturally as possible and not adding too much hot glue where you see it. And we're going to start with the larger picks, and then we're going to start working ourselves down to the smallest ones. If you are enjoying this video, I would love for you to take a second and give me a thumbs up. A thumbs up on this video will allow more people to see it, and it would help my channel grow. You can also give me a super thanks, which will help support my channel even more, and you can find it directly to the right side of the thumbs up. So we are approaching the end here, and as you can see, the picks start getting smaller and smaller, and these two leaves are the smallest one of the pick. And I'm going to place them right in the center. That this is what's going to replace having a bow right in the center of the wreath, which is normally where you would put a bow or some kind of ribbon. But in this case, I'm going to hot glue the leaves in a way where it's going to cover the center, and it's going to look pretty natural because, again, I just don't want this wreath to have any ribbon, any bows. I want it to look very natural and, again, look like it was just naturally made in nature. I would love to hear from you. What do you think of this wreath? Is it too simple, too plain, or is it just perfect? I seem to love it. I love the freshness of it. I love how grand it looks, but so simple. Love to know what you think of this one. Let me know down in the comments. For the next Dollar Tree hack, I am going to start with this medium size wire wreath form from the Dollar Tree. And then we're going to bring a ton of flip-flops. How fun are these though, right? They're so colorful. Okay, so I got 6 pairs, and they're all very summery, kind of complement each other in the color, and they're all children's size. Again, if you're going to do a larger one, maybe you want to pick larger adult size. So here I'm just dry fitting all the flip-flops to kind of see how I want to put them. Now I'm cutting about 3 to 4 inches strips of this wire. You can find this at Dollar Tree in the car or automobile section. I'm going to use a tiny little screwdriver to poke a couple of holes on the flip-flop, and then I'm going to thread the wire through those little holes, and this is how we are going to attach the flip-flops to the wire, because if you hot glue it, believe me, I tried, it's just not, it just spreads everywhere and it doesn't really attach. So wire is the way to go. Another way you can do is possibly maybe adding some foam to the wreath, but I think it's just too much. I think just wiring it to it is perfect. For the ones on the bottom, I actually added 2 wires. So I poked them twice and then make sure they attached very, very well. And that way the flip-flops are not tilting back and forth. And I did that to all the ones on the first level of the flip-flops. All right, so this is where I'm at. I've got the first 4 initial flip-flops. Now I am going to start adding some of the ones that are going to kind of overlap. And I'm just kind of eye out where we're at with how many. I know I have enough, but just so that all the colors are all nicely staggered, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And I have no repeat colors together back to back. But now we're going to place the solid pink ones. I'm just going to place them right in between some of these, and that way we have no same colors together, so they're all different. So I think that's looking really good. I'm not worried about the space because we're going to add something. So I think that's pretty good. For the second level, I'm still poking holes, but I'm only adding one wire, and that seemed to work really well. Also, because I am going to hot glue each flip-flop to each other. So anywhere where you see a flip-flop where it overlaps the next, I added just a little bit of hot glue, and that way it was secure and hardened. Now, I'm going to take some of these florals from Walmart. This is a larger pick, so it's just more bang for my buck, but you can certainly find some beautiful florals right now at Dollar Tree that you can place, and I'm just going to place one small little pick. I'm adding some hot glue to the bottom and then placing them in between each flip-flop. And here's me showing you how I added just a little hot glue. A little goes a long way. Again, these flip-flops are very lightweight, so a little bit is fine. And then it's time to add something to the center. So I found this floral. It's like a wind flower, you know, like they'll spin in the wind. And I removed the stem or the wire stem that it had, and then I hot glued it to the flip-flops. I just added a little bit of hot glue wherever the petals touched a flip-flop, and that seemed to work. Again, it was very light. I'm going to add another one of the sunflowers, cut the stem very close to the flower, added some hot glue, and then placed it right in the center. I think it's so cute. All right, so this is where we're at now. I could either stop here or I could add some more greenery over here, and I will, just to cover up some of the wire that you can still see. I think it's going to look cute anyway, and the greenery that I'm going to use is very light, just airy, so it's not going to be too heavy. I think it's actually going to look really cute. These faux grassy stems I do get on Amazon, and I do have them on my Amazon store, which is linked down below. It is always linked down below. If you've never visited, you can always check it out. I have all of my favorite supplies from Amazon, and these are there. But look how beautiful this wreath is. I seriously can't stand it. It is also pretty lightweight, so it works really well. But I just love the colors, and I love how summery it is. I think this one is my favorite today. So let's head out to the cleaning aisle at Dollar Tree because we are working with these fan dusters. If you've never worked with them, here's your sign that you should be. I grabbed 2 of them, and we're going to remove the tags, and we're also going to remove the handles. At first, I thought I could just use my wire cutters to cut it. It was just a little too thick. So I was able to just kind of keep turning and twisting the handle until both of them came off. So just keep doing that very carefully. Then we're just going to take the wire and we're just going to carefully bend over so that they are hidden in between all the fuzzies. We did the same thing to the second one. We're going to grab white jute string as well as hot glue. We're going to join these 2 dusters together on the flat side. So we're going to first add hot glue, and then we're going to add 2 pieces of the jute string in between the center, and then just tie them. Tie it as snug as you are able to in a simple knot, and cut off the excess jute string. This is going to join them together and create a nice tight bond. So now that we are getting to creating what will be a bunny, we're going to bring in some foam board. Now, you've seen these before at Dollar Tree. They carry them year round. I'm just going to take a piece that I already had on hand, and we're going to take this wreath form in the shape of a bunny. We're going to trace the ears, and we are going to cut them using my blade knife. You can do whatever you want to the ears, my friends. You can paint them. You can use craft paper. In this case, I'm going to use some fabric that I recently got at Hobby Lobby. We're just going to cover the front of it. We're just going to add hot glue and cut off the excess. We'll do the same thing to the second one, and then we're going to flip them to its back, and we're going to fold all the edges inwards and secure them with more hot glue. We are now going to take 2 bamboo skewers, and we're going to hot glue 1 to each ear on the back. So just add a strip of glue and place them right there. And then we're going to add masking tape right on top just for extra security and bond. Once I had that, I realized I really want to cover the back. It just looked messy. So I'm going to take a piece of craft paper that I had already used for another project. I'm going to trace it, and then we're going to cut it about 1/4 of an inch inside of the line. So just a little smaller than what the ears are. That way we can hot glue into the back. It'll be clean and neat and just look a little bit more professional. I did the same thing to the second one, and then we are going to place them with some hot glue right inside all the fuzzies. So just keep poking and pushing right through the center. Add hot glue when both of them meet and just hold it in place until it hardens. Now we are going to join both ears together by adding a little bit of dab of hot glue and then join them and hold it until it hardens. We're going to add some greenery and embellishments. These are some greeneries that I had from Walmart, and these yellow ones are from, I believe, from Walmart as well. And then some pink and white flowers from Dollar Tree. You can do whatever you want, my friends. Just add any flowers you want, any fabric you want. This one is absolutely gorgeous. I love how bright and airy and springy it looks. And we use 2 dusters. How about that? Let me know what you think down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with these Easter eggs garland that you can find at Dollar Tree Plus. Love these, the design. Some of them have feathers. They're so cute. We're going to remove each individual egg by cutting off the jute string and just putting them to the side. I'm also going to use 2 of these silver wired wreath forms from Dollar Tree. We're going to take them and remove the tags, and 2 of these dusting mobs from Dollar Tree as well. Remove the tags, and we are going to cut these directly in half. Then we're going to place them inside of the wreath form. So the wreath form, it's on its front, okay? So we're flipping it upside down, and we're going to add the mobs right inside. Don't worry about hot gluing it. You're not going to need it. Just basically make sure that all of the inside is covered. Then we're going to start hot gluing each egg onto the white dusting mobs. Do whatever design you want. I just started hot gluing. I just wanted to make sure that the eggs are to the center as possible. So make sure they're not overlapping on the edges. And then we're going to place the other wired wreath form right on top. Just kind of snug in the eggs as needed, making sure that the inside of the wreath form, and then take 4 zip ties from Dollar Tree and start zip tying the wreath forms together. Just on the outside wire, just thread it from the bottom to the top, and then don't tighten it right away. Just put all the zip ties in first. Once you have them all, I placed 4 of them, 1 on top, bottom, and each side. And then once they're in place, then basically just tighten them as needed, and then cut off the excess zip tie. This is going to hold it in place, and you're not even going to need zip ties on the inside of the wreath form. Then I wanted to add a nice bow. So we're going to use some burlap ribbon. This is from burlapfabric.com. We're going to make a 4-loop ribbon, scrunch it in the middle, tie it with jute string, and then we're going to make a second bow using a beautiful teal burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree. Again, 4 loops, scrunch it in the middle, tie it with jute string, and then we're going to make a third bow using ticking stripe that I got on Amazon. And we're going to make a double loop bow, and same thing, scrunch it in the middle, tie it, and then we're going to join all 3 bows together. We're going to place the ticking stripe on top of the teal one, and then those 2 on top of the burlap. We're going to secure them to each other by tying them together. Once the bows are nicely fluffed, just cut off the excess ribbon in a dovetail shape. That way it looks neat and professional. And of course, we want to then attach it to the wreath form. So we're just going to attach it to the top, and we're going to use another zip tie and then just thread it through the top wire on top of the bows, and then just tighten it as needed. Now to the center, you can leave it like this. You can add greenery, but I decided to add 1 more egg with hot glue right there in the center. That way it'll complement the whole design, and look how stunning this looks. It's so grand, it's so beautiful. I love the muted tones that it has. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Next, Dollar Tree DIY craft. I'm going to take one of these faux wooden slices from Dollar Tree, remove all the greenery and all the embellishments, but we are going to keep the little tie on the top. I'm going to roughen it up and remove some of that sheen with my electric sander, wipe it really well, and then add 2 coats of Waverly chalk paint in the white. But of course, you can use any color you want depending on what style you're looking for. I'm going to put that to the side and let it dry. We're going to create 2 other ears. This time I'm going to freehand them. I need them to be a little tall and thin. So I'm just going to use my pencil and my blade knife to get these done. And I'm going to use the first one, trace it on another piece of foam board. That way they'll be as close as possible in shape and size. Once I had them in place, I want to cover them up with some yarn. I recently got these yarns at Walmart actually, and they had a great deal, and I love the colors for this one. So I'm just going to add a little hot glue at the top and just start wrapping them up, hot gluing as needed. But basically it's just the top and the bottom where you need hot glue. Once I had them nicely covered, we are going to attach them one on each side of the little tie. We're going to add hot glue, and once they were joined together, I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to use a clothespin to secure them even more in place. So we're going to remove the metal portion, add hot glue to the flat side, and hot glue it and hold it in place. If you have popsicle sticks, that works well as well, but these clothespins work really good because they're very sturdy. I am now going to freehand a cute little bunny face. So I'm going to start with a triangle nose with rounded edges. I'm going to use a permanent marker to create the mouth, some whiskers, and some beautiful eyes. I love the way she turned out. All right, so then we're going to add some rosy cheeks. I added a little bit too much paint, so I'm just going to wipe off the excess, and it worked really well. Now we're going to add embellishments, of course, so I'm going to add some light colored leaves, leftovers from another pick. Some of these picks that we used earlier, just add them right there and just layer all kinds of greenery, including this darker one, and then a beautiful pink flower right there in the center to finish it off. And look how beautiful she looks. Oh my gosh, she's ready for spring, looking like a princess. I love the colors and I love the style. What do you think of this one? Dollar Tree DIY craft. I'm going to take this heart-shaped wreath form. You can find these during the Valentine's Day season or leading to it. We're going to cut up several of these burlap ribbon. This one is from burlapfabric.com, but you can use Dollar Tree's burlap ribbon as well. I'm going to cut these into 6 inches long. Then I'm going to stack them together and I'm just going to dovetail cut the ends. I cut enough to go around the wreath form, but don't worry if you don't cut enough. Just start with a small amount and then just add more if you need to so you don't waste any ribbon. Now I'm going to just thread them through the outward portion of the wire, and we're going to loop it and hot glue it to itself, just like that. And we're going to do that all around the heart, all around the outside perimeter. If you get to a place where you have a wire in between, don't worry. All you got to do is just kind of look where you need to make a slit, and you just slit one side, and then you can just hot glue it one on each side of the wire, just like that. We're going to do it again in a little bit, and I'll show you. So we're going to finalize this last layer, and then we're going to bring in some nautical rope from Dollar Tree. This is the white kind. You can find this year round. We're going to wrap around the 2 middle wire portion. This took me a little bit. And it's okay. I just put on a movie or some music and you just start wrapping it around. The key here is to hot glue as needed, especially in the ones that have an angle or also rounded. But just take your time and start wrapping it around. So we have the entire middle portion now wrapped up. Now we're going to take this beautiful Dollar Tree heart ribbon. We're going to cut it into 7-inch strips. Again, just cut a few, and if you need more, then cut more. We're then going to do the same thing we did earlier. We're going to fold it, and we're going to dovetail cut those ends because we want it to match the design of the other ribbon. And then we're going to attach it to the wreath, but this time we're going to do it on the back side of the wreath. So I cut each ribbon in half, just like you see there, and I'm going to start hot gluing. Now I'm going to start in the top, and I'm going to make sure that each layer overlaps to the next one just a little bit. It doesn't have to overlap much. Just a little bit will do, and I did that all around the heart. So we're just about done adding the red ribbon. Now, as you can tell, the design is on the back of the wreath. This is because we're not going to pull them forward, just like that. And I'm going to use my scissors. The ones that are behind a wire, I'm going to show you because we're going to cut those again. So I'm going to keep pulling them so that we can reveal the beautiful design on top of the burlap. Now, the ones with the wire in between is the same thing as earlier. We're just going to make a slit right where we need to, right where the wire is, and then you're going to pull it forward. And I'm going to do it again twice so you can see it. Right there, we're going to cut right where that wire is, and then we're going to pull it forward. And one more time, we're just going to make a cut to the ribbon where the wire is and then pull it forward. It's so easy, and it just makes things so much easier because you don't have to worry about making sure it fits. All right, so now we're going to add some leaf. Again, these are just extra ones that I've had from other pigs. I'm going to add 3 of these darker green tones, one for the bottom to the top, and then one towards the outside of the upper right side corner. Then I'm going to add these lighter tone green leaves just right on top. It doesn't matter. And then this beautiful, it has like a deep red, kind of like a pinkish tone, but I love how it complements everything and it brings everything together. And this wreath is absolutely gorgeous. How romantic, how simple, how easy, and how fun. Let me know what you think of this one. Alright, so I know you can get these mini wreaths anywhere, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, but Amazon has some really good deals, so check them out on Amazon. And as a matter of fact, I do have several for you available on my Amazon store, which is linked down below, so check it out if you want to recreate these at home. All right, so moving along to first DIY, we're going to take this one and these 4 little ones. They are all grapevine wreaths. However, the smaller ones are about 4 inches, and then the bigger one is about, it's still small, but it's just way bigger than the little tiny mini one. So we're going to use 5 of these. We're going to take some black wire that I get at Dollar Tree, and we're going to start attaching them to the one side of the larger wreath, and we're going to tie these very snug. As you can see, I am really pulling on that wire, making sure it is snug, and then I am twisting it several times to ensure that that mini wreath is not going to fall forward or back. I want to make sure they're nicely tight. Then I'm going to fold the excess wire and I'm going to push it right through the wreath. That way we're not going to have anything poking through and scratching a wall or a finger or whatever. We're going to do the same thing with all 3 other mini wreaths. All right, so as you can tell, we are starting to create a paw wreath. And here I'm just trying to make sure that those mini wreaths are not going anywhere. So this paw wreath, it's kind of funny. As I'm placing the greenery, you're going to start seeing it that I'm going to place some faux boxwood that I do get also on Amazon. I'm just going to place a few little pieces as well as these yellow flowers from Walmart just to kind of brighten it up. The funny part about this wreath is that none of my family member or friends thought it was a paw except for my daughter. She guessed it right away. Everyone else thought it was something different. What do you think? Does it look like a paw or does it not? Anyways, let me know in the comments. So I'm just going to add this little burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree bow right to the center, hot glue it, and that's it. I think it looks super adorable, and I think it does look like a paw, but again, let me know in the comments what you think. For the next DIY is one of my favorite. We're going to take 3 of these. They're still mini, but they're a little larger than the little mini tiny ones. And I'm just going to place them kind of like how I see fit, you know, depending on the style and how thick they are. And we're going to take some more of that black wire and we're going to tightly tighten them to each other. Once again, just like the first paw wreath, we just basically want to tie them and make sure you pull on it so that it's very, very tight. And then again, we're going to leave some little tiny wires and just push them inside the wreath. That way it's not going to poke anything or anyone. We're going to do the same thing with the other one, but we're going to offset it a little bit. So I want to create like a little bit of a curve with these wreaths. And then we're going to take some more of those leftover greeneries. I just don't let anything go to waste. And then some of these purple flowers from Dollar Tree. How beautiful they are. All right, we're going to attach them where each wreath comes together, where the joints are, and we're just going to hot glue them. One's going to be facing one way, and then the bottom one's going to be facing the other way. Then I'm going to add some of the leftover greenery. We're just going to hot glue it behind the purple flowers just to add a little fullness and just more color. And again, we're going to do the same thing to the bottom one, but facing the opposite side. And then we're going to take some more of that Dollar Tree burlap ribbon, and we're just going to thread it through the top wreath. And then we're just going to hot glue it to itself, because that way it's just going to be kind of joined. You can either hang it or not, but however it could be. So I'm just going to add a little bit hot glue to one end and then just hot glue it to the end like that. And then we're going to bring the hot glued portion of it behind the wreath so that it hides it. And that's it. Definitely one of my favorites from today. Love the colors, love the style. So trendy, so easy and beautiful. For the next cardboard hack, I'm going to take a piece of cardboard. It's going to be about 3.5 inches thick by about, I would say, about 12 inches long. And then I'm going to cover it using these bamboo flat dowels that I get on Amazon. Recently, I've been using them quite a bit because they're just so easy and versatile. I'm going to cover the entire thing by cutting with my miter shears, which I do have both of these, the dowels as well as the shears in my Amazon store. And I'm just going to hot glue them down the all surface, because that way we're going to have a planked look. Then I am going to cover the edges with a smaller piece. This is because the edges is not very smooth and they're not evenly cut. So I'm just going to cover them up with smaller pieces. And then I'm going to give it one coat of Waverly chalk paint in the white, and it's going to have a fresh look. And then I am going to also paint the edges because it does have that cardboard look. I wanted to blend in a little bit more with the planked board, and I did that on all sides. Recently at Dollar Tree, I found these little wood words, and these have 2 in a pack, and this one says home. I am going to give it one coat of the Venetian Yellow by Rust-Oleum milk paint, and then I'm going to let it fully dry. And then it's time to just attach it to the board. I am going to attach it towards the bottom right side of the board, because we are going to attach this to a wreath form. This wreath form has been thrifted for a long time. I've had it hanging on my wall, just sitting there, and I thought this would be the perfect project. I hot glued the board, and because it is cardboard, again, it is really easy to attach with hot glue. I'm going to take these fern picks from Dollar Tree. I'm going to take 4 of them, and I'm going to start placing them to the left side of the wreath form. And you're going to start seeing that I'm going to just kind of thread them in between each other, because I do not want to have any bow or flowers in the center. I want this to look very natural. So I'm just going to thread them in between each other with some hot glue, fluffing where I need it. Then I'm going to take these little yellow pigs that I got at Walmart last year, and I'm going to start placing them here and there to just kind of add a pop of color and also complement the yellow in the home. And then I'm going to add these larger leaves in the center just to cover any glue that you may be able to see. And then that's it for the flowers. Then I'm going to add some burlap ribbon, and we're going to do something different. Instead of adding a bow to the actual wreath, I'm going to tie it in a knot, and then I'm going to make a bow on top of the knot. This is going to just give it a very natural, relaxed look, and it's not going to clutter the wreath form. And I gotta say, it's one of my favorite wreath forms that I've ever made, and I've made many. It just looks so natural, so fresh. I love the simplicity of it, and I just love it. You gotta let me know what you think of this one down in the comments. On a recent trip to Dollar Tree, I found these heart-shaped wreath forms. They're perfect for Valentine's Day, but I think they're good for any other part of spring. So I'm going to take one of them, and I'm going to wrap it up with this beautiful burlap green ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use the entire roll. I was hoping it'd be enough to cover the entire thing, but it wasn't. And then I didn't have any more on hand, at least, and I didn't want to go back to Dollar Tree. So we're just going to wrap it around as tight as I can, covering the entire wreath form. And then I'm going to take some neutral color burlap ribbon, and I'm just going to finish off in the area where we didn't have enough. I know you love watching video tutorials, but if you love a written format, I do have a blog that I post every single week, and I have these videos in a written format. So check it out. It is linked down below. All right, so I'm going to attach, like I said, the neutral color burlap just all around that little area. Now, you're not going to be able to see it because we're going to cover it up with some florals, but I wish I would have had enough so it's just nice and even. But it's okay. It worked out in the end. So I'm just going to secure it in the back with some hot glue, and then we're going to add some florals. These are some florals that I got from my mother-in-law for Christmas. I love when she gives me some floral picks because she knows that I love to craft with them. I'm going to cut off some excess stems, and we're just going to start placing them here and there in between on that upper right corner of the heart. I'm going to clip a little hole on this one just so that I can get that stem right in there with some hot glue, and it's not going to go anywhere. I'm going to fluff it and bend it as needed so that it has the shape of the heart. And then I'm going to add some picks here and there, some single ones, just to kind of fill it in and on those gaps that you can see a lot of that ribbon. And then we're going to bring in some cute little pink flowers that I also got from my mother-in-law for Christmas. We're just going to start adding hot glue and placing them all in that kind of like center area, moving towards the bottom and the top wherever it needs it. And we're just about done with this one. I gotta say, I think this one is my favorite. I love them all, but I just love the color combination. That green and that vibrant coral red is stunning. I love this wreath. For the next hack, I'm going to take this wreath cross, and then I am going to take another one of those beautiful scarves and just cut it. This one was actually an infinity scarf. Now make sure that when you fold it in half, just like I did, you are folding it with the brighter design on the outside. Then we're going to start at the bottom, and we're just going to simply wrap the cross all the way from the bottom to the top. I'm not overly concerned with the middle portion where the cross meets because we're going to cover that later with some florals. But right now I'm just focusing on making sure that I'm hot gluing as needed and wrapping it all around where everything is covered. I thought that I can just do it with one way without having to cut, but I did have to cut on one of the ends and then restart on the other side. No big deal, but it just gave me a nice flexible way to cover everything. Once I had it in place, nicely hot glued, you're going to see that it's nicely covered in the middle. You can see a little bit, but no worries. We're going to cover it up. And first we're going to add one of these foam balls from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut it in half so that I have one side that is flat. I'm going to poke 2 holes and then thread a zip tie right through it because we are going to tie this to the center. That way we can add some florals. I am going to add a little bit of hot glue to make sure it's nice and secure and just zip tie it nice and snug. Then we're going to cover up that foam using some moss. This is moss from Dollar Tree. Again, most of these items are from Dollar Tree because it's so inexpensive. Even the zip tie is from Dollar Tree. Hot gluing the moss is very easy. You just want to add hot glue and carefully just place it. And then I'm going to go all the way around and at the top. And now it's time to have fun and just add florals. I'm going to start on the outer perimeter. I'm just going to add some of these faux boxwood, add them all the way around. And then I'm going to add some different other florals that I already had on hand, whether it's from Amazon or Dollar Tree, in colors that complement the scarf nicely. And we are just about done with this one. And I gotta say, these colors are stunning. I love the colors. I love how they complement the cross. Perfect for spring, perfect for Easter. I am in love with it. I'm also going to take this fish tail wreath form. It has a darker tone, so we're going to lighten it up using some Waverly chalk paint in the agave color. And I'm just going to start dabbing it, and I'm going to do 2 coats and then let that fully dry. Because I don't know if this is going to be outdoors or indoors, I do want to seal everything using a top coat, and I'm just going to use this semi-gloss clear spray by Rust-Oleum. I'm just going to give it a quick coat and, of course, let that dry. Now it has a beautiful summer look. We're going to take this burlap roll that has a beautiful scale style design, and the color matches perfectly. I'm going to open it up and I'm just going to set it to the center, and I'm just going to cut off some of the excess on the sides. And then we're going to start applying it on the inside of the wreath form. At first, I thought I would just start hot gluing it, but I'm going to show you how that didn't quite work very well. I just started adding hot glue, moving quickly so that it didn't dry on me, and then just start applying it and pressing it down. I quickly realized that it was sticking, but not permanently. And I want this to have a permanent look. So I'm going to take some of this flexible wire. I'm just going to cut about 2-inch pieces, fold it in half, and then I'm just going to start threading them and then tying them on the back. I'm not going to lie, this took a little longer than what I was planning, but in the end, it was so worth it. And this is what it's looking so far, and I am loving it. I added some of those ties everywhere where I thought it would need it for a snug, tight fit. I'm going to flip it over and I'm just going to start snipping all those little X's, little pokey parts from the wire. If I was to planning on sell this item, I am going to cover the back with one more layer of fabric to cover all the parts that have the wire exposed. But because I'm going to keep this one for myself, I am going to leave them exposed. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut off the excess burlap, leaving about maybe 1/8 of an inch on the outside of the wreath form. There were some areas where there still needed a little tie, so I'm just going to add those as needed to make sure that I have a snug fit. Now I'm going to add some florals. These are all from Dollar Tree, beautifully designed. I'm just going to tie them in a bundle using some jute rope, secure it in place with some hot glue, and then we're going to place it in the center on the back of the wreath form. Now, I didn't know how to quite exactly attach it, so I just decided to go back to my ties with the flexible wire. I'm going to slide them in through a part where the wire wreath is, and then just tie them in the back, and I'm going to do one on the top and the bottom of the bundle to secure it in place. Then I'm just going to make sure that the branches and the flowers are where I need them, and then just manipulate them where I want. I'm going to add hot glue to the rim portion of the top, and then I'm just going to add some of this moss from Dollar Tree to add all those branches. After I had the florals where I wanted them, I'm going to take one of these little white anchors that I got at Dollar Tree. Aren't they gorgeous? Wow. All right, so I'm going to remove the jute string. I'm going to place it on the upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to take some white jute string and a knitting needle, and I'm just going to thread it through the top, making sure that it attaches to one of the wires from the wreath form. Flip it over, and I'm just going to tightly snug it. This is just going to allow it to not really look like much in the front because it matches the color. Okay, so isn't this beautiful? I love this wreath. It has such summer vibes, so inexpensive. For the next Dollar Tree hack, I am going to take this striped burlap roll, and I'm going to take this roll that is the inside of I think it was just one of those, like, I don't know, maybe gift wraps. I just kept it because it was actually very sturdy. I'm going to place it right in the center and just kind of start wrapping up the burlap roll. I'm going to kind of mark where I need to cut, and then I'm going to use a serrated knife to make the cut perfectly. All right, now I'm going to take some aluminum foil, and I am going to make like a little hook, like a curved portion, because we are creating a little umbrella wreath. And I need to have the umbrella shape of the umbrella. So I'm going to take some of that aluminum foil, snug it in place with some masking tape, and then just keep adding foil until I have the shape that I want. I am then going to wrap the whole thing with some masking tape from Dollar Tree for more security. And then I'm going to wrap everything up with some nautical rope from Dollar Tree, securing it in place with some hot glue. All right, so here we go. We got that portion all done. I'm going to place it right back in the center, wrap it up, and then I'm just going to tie it in the center with some jute string. We're going to add something here in just a little bit, but for now, some jute string will be fine. I'm not too concerned with it being too tight because we are going to add some florals. These are a combination of Dollar Tree and Walmart florals, and I'm just going to hot glue picks here and there until I like what I see. And I also wanted to add some color, so I added some pink flowers from Dollar Tree. So we're just about done with the floral arrangement and I am loving what I'm seeing. Now I wanted to add something in the center. Now I made this bead garland a while back and I am going to remove the floral portion and several of the beads on each side. This is going to give me some wiggle room because we're going to wrap it around the center. So I'm just going to tie the ends to the last bead and then I'm going to have a nice open space in the center. I'm just going to thread it between each other and just tie it in a simple knot, nothing major, and then that's it. But I did add a little pink flower right in the center to hide the string, and look how cute this looks. It's one of my favorites from today, if not my favorite. Let me know what you think of this one. All right, so this wreath form I got at the thrift store very inexpensively, and I'm going to use these very cute and vibrant flip-flops, adult size from Dollar Tree. I hot glued the first one, and then I decided I needed to make it a little bit more secure, so I'm just going to poke a couple of holes, thread some flexible wire through it, and then I'm just going to thread it through one of the vines on the wreath form so that it has a more secure hold. So this year I decided to make a little bit of a different one, but still using flip-flops as the main piece. So after I have the first one tightened up, I'm just going to cut off the excess wire, and I'm going to do the same thing with the next flip-flop. I'm just going to poke a couple of holes on the bottom, thread some wire, and then just tighten it to the bottom of the wreath. Now, after I did that, I did want to still add some hot glue. The wreath form and the flip-flops will attach very nicely with the glue, and this will be very permanent there to go against any elements. All right, so once I had them attached, I wanted to add some greenery and flowers. So I had these greenery from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to start adding them pick by pick here and there on the top, the bottom, and even some in between for a nice touch of greenery. To add some color and complement the colors of the flip-flops, I'm going to add these yellow ones from Dollar Tree, again on the top, the bottom, and in between. And then I wanted to add a pop of really colorful one, so I'm just going to add this beautiful pink one in the center there, right on the bottom of the flip-flops, and then add some more of the pink ones here and there in the rest of the arrangement. This is just going to bring everything together. I did not add any ribbon to hang it from because this wreath form is a grapevine. You can hang it through the vines very easily, although you can add any ribbon you want to the top and then be able to hang it. But look how beautiful this looks. I'm actually going to keep it. I'm not going to sell it or gift it. I'm going to use it in my summer porch decor. What do you think? For this next flip-flop hack, I'm going to take these beautiful pink and white striped ones. They are adult size. And I'm just going to place them on top of some cardboard. I was inspired by a Pinterest post that I see. And I'm just going to mark where I need to make a cut, because I need to make a base for these flip-flops to keep that V shape that I want. I'm going to use my blade knife to cut off any excess cardboard. And then I'm going to place the flip-flops right back on top. This time I'm going to trace it a little bit more in detail so that I know exactly where I need to cut. But I want to leave enough on the top so that the V shape stays in place and it's nice and sturdy. Now, once I had everything cut, I thought I needed to add just one more layer of thickness and security so that it does not go anywhere. So I had these paint sticks that I got on Amazon, but you can use any paint sticks you have on hand. I'm going to mark where I need to cut, and then I'm just going to use wire cutters just to cut them. And then I'm going to hot glue them right on top of the cardboard. Again, this is to add security, thickness, so that the flip-flops stay nice and put. Once I had them glued, I am going to paint them white. I wasn't sure if you're going to still be able to see it through the top or the sides of the flip-flops, so I wanted to just give it a nice neutral color. I didn't do the back, but if you want, you can do the back. Now I'm going to take this love sign from Dollar Tree. It has a little bit of a farmhouse look. We're going to remove everything from it. And we are going to sand down smooth any surface that has any excess glue. I'm going to wipe it down really, really well because we are going to paint the surface in a beautiful agave color by Waverly. I'm a little bit obsessed with this color. It's such a beautiful color for spring, but specifically for summer. And it has great coverage. So I only gave it one coat and that was actually sufficient. I'm going to put that to the side, and while it dries, I'm going to attach the flip-flops to my platform. I'm just going to hot glue it in place, making sure I add enough hot glue. I'm going to add one first and then the next one. To be able to hang this piece, I am going to add some white nautical rope from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to hot glue it to the back, and I'm also going to add some masking tape. This is for two things. This is to add more security, and I'm also going to add it because I don't want the rope to fray on me. So masking tape really does work nicely. All right, so now to the front, I am going to make these faux knots that I've used before as a technique that is really clever to use. I'm going to make a very tight knot. I'm going to remove the excess rope from the top and the bottom, and then I'm going to hot glue one on each bottom of the flip-flop. In a little bit, you're going to see why that's important. Now the piece is dry, so I'm going to stencil this welcome stencil from Essential Stencil, and I'm just going to use some Waverly chalk paint in the white and stencil it away. Nothing major, nothing fancy, just going to stencil it. Once I had it stenciled, I did want it to seal everything because this will be out in my porch and it will be exposed to the elements. So I'm just going to use this Rust-Oleum clear top coat, and I'm just going to give it one coat and let it dry. Now we're going to bring everything together. I'm going to cut two pieces of the same nautical rope from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to start hot gluing it to the bottom of each flip-flop and joining in the bottom portion. This is going to be what is holding the pieces together, but the knot is going to be looking like it is knotted in the front, not hot glued. I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to hot glue it and also use masking tape as I did earlier. We are almost done, but I am a sucker for adding greenery. And I know some of you always call me out on it, saying you always add greenery to things. I just think it just adds character and color and just beauty. I like it. But you don't have to do this step if you don't want. I'm going to use some of these picks from the Dollar Tree I had left over, and I'm just going to hot glue them to the top. And then I'm going to bend them over as needed, as well as these cute little pink flowers and a yellow one to bring everything together and add a cute pop of color. I gotta say, this one is very much one of my favorites. I love the color combinations. I love how it just has this beachy, very cool look for summer. What do you think? For the next Dollar Tree flip-flop hack, I am going to use this wood round from Dollar Tree. You get these all the time in the crafting section, and I'm going to start applying different colors of paint using my chalk paint brushes. Now, these brushes are great for blending, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to use different colors of yellows and a mauve color and a blue color, and I'm just going to let you watch as I blend these colors all together, joining in the middle. I mentioned that these brushes are great for blending, but they're also great for crafting and furniture flipping. I use them all the time when I flip furniture, and I have several on hand, and I also have them on my Amazon store. So if you want to check it out, that Amazon store is linked down below in the description box as well. All right, so we're just about done blending these colors, and I'm really loving the way it has that sunset kind of ocean look. Beautiful. All right, so I created a decal using my Cricut. This one says life is better in flip-flops, and I think it's just so appropriate for the theme today. I did make sure that I placed the letters and the words exactly where I wanted them so that I can fit two flip-flops on the left side. I'm going to attach it using some transfer tape, and then I'm just going to peel off the transfer tape and reveal the beautiful decal. These flip-flops are the youth kind, and they're so cute. How fun are these colors? And it has these cute little dinosaurs. Perfect color combination with the wood round. I'm going to hot glue them in place. One is going to be lower than the other one. Very easy to do. Now this one, I am going to do the same thing that I did earlier with the faux knots. I'm just going to make a couple of knots very tightly, cut off the excess rope on top and the bottom, and then I'm just going to hot glue it over those holes that were already on the wood round. I'll do the same thing to the next one. Now for the back, very easily, we're just going to add some nautical rope once again. I'm going to hot glue it in place, and I am going to use masking tape to make sure that they're not going to fray on me. You do not have to do this. I do like doing it because I do know that it will fray on me. But look how beautiful this one looks. If this doesn't scream summer to you, I don't know what does. Absolutely gorgeous. For the next DIY craft, I'm going to use the leftover piece of that fabric we just used and two more, this green and this coral color. It's like an orangey color. We're going to flatten it out and iron it just a little bit. We're not looking for perfection, just to remove those heavy wrinkles. Same thing with the other one. Now I'm going to use the guide of the first one because it's a leftover piece we have. I want all three pieces to have the same size. So I'm just going to place them one on top of each other and then remove that excess piece. Then we are going to fold these, leaving them stacked just like they are in half. And then we're going to cut 2-inch strips all the way across. This is because we are going to create a beautiful, colorful wreath using this small wire wreath from Dollar Tree. Now we're just going to start tying them into a knot, making sure that the knot is facing upwards. And I'm going to make sure that I keep the same pattern with the fabric. This is looking so pretty. Now I did 2/3 of it, so make sure you leave 1/3 of the wreath not covered. I'm going to straighten out those little frays and then we're just going to cut them to make sure that they are all even and they don't look so crazy. We're just going to wrap it up and down, making sure that it's fully covered. This is also going to give us a good base so we can add some florals. I'm going to hot glue it in place and make sure that I cut off any excess of the fabric so it looks nice and neat. We're going to bring in some greenery and some flower. These are all from Dollar Tree. We're going to cut off different stems, hot glue them in place, some facing up, some facing down, but as long as everything looks kind of even and pretty. This green flower I've had for so many years, I can't even remember where I got it, but I poked a hole right in the center of the green portion, added glue, and stuck it right in. I added some extra yellow ones to add more color and design, and I think it turned out so beautiful. It actually looks a lot larger than what the actual wreath form is, and I love it. Let me know what you think though down in the comments. I'm going to remove the sticker, of course, and then I am going to give it one pretty heavy coat of Rust-Oleum milk paint in the Highland Blue. All right, one coat was sufficient, let it dry, and it's fully covered. All right, so now we are going to use this ribbon. I found this at Hobby Lobby months ago and it was on sale, it was on clearance, and so I'm just going to use it. It's kind of stretchy. I just wanted something white. So if you're going to recreate something like this, just try to find a ribbon that is white, or you can also tape and paint as you need. So I'm just going to cut several pieces and I'm going to wrap it around, creating a nice even design all around the wreath form. I am going to make sure that I am placing one and then directly across placing the other one. This is going to give me a nice even separation between the white ribbon. Again, if you're going to paint, just use the same technique with the tape. We're just about done with these, and now I'm going to grab one of these anchors. You can find these at Dollar Tree during the summer season. Look how gorgeous it is, and it is pretty large. I'm going to remove the jute string from this one that it came with. It's more like a rope, and I'm going to replace it with the longer one. This is just jute rope from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to tie it very loosely on top, and then I'm kind of just going to wrap it around almost like it tangled up underneath the ocean. I just want it to have a very natural look. I'm going to hot glue it here and there, cut where I need it, because we are going to hot glue and secure the anchor to the actual wreath form. So I want it to be flush on the back. So any rope that is behind it, I'm just going to cut just like you see here, and then hot glue and tuck as needed. And that's it for this one. I gotta tell you, such an easy DIY craft. Perfect for summer. What a beautiful color combination. So inexpensive and so easy. I want to know what you think of this one. For this next DIY craft, I'm going to take another one of those foam wreath forms, and this time we're going to wrap it around with some nautical rope from Dollar Tree. This is the white kind, and then we're going to alternate from the white one to the natural tone one. I'm going to do 7 loops around, and then I'm going to go on to the jute rope, and I'm going to keep alternating until the entire wreath form is covered. Here's the thing. If you've ever wrapped anything around anything circular like this, you know that the inside circumference is smaller than the outside. So eventually some of those strands, some of those rope strands are going to kind of overlap each other. So if you see that, it's okay. I'm not looking for perfection. I just want it to be covered and look nice and pretty. As I continued to wrap around, I noticed that I did not have enough rope. Ugh. I had way more of the natural jute tone than the white one. So I have a gap, but it's okay because we're going to cover it anyways. So it worked out. All right, I'm going to grab another one of those blue anchors from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to leave the jute rope on this one. I'm going to hot glue it pretty heavily and place it right where that area is. Then we're going to take some of these greenery. I had these on hand. My mother-in-law gifted them to me for Christmas. So I'm just going to use what I have, but use what you have. Use any florals, use any greenery you have. I'm just going to cut them in smaller picks and just hot glue them behind the anchor here and there until I kind of like what I see. And then I'm going to add some seashells. These are from Dollar Tree. Just going to add 3 of them here and there to add some pop of color and just a little bit more character with a beachy look. And look how cute this one looks. I gotta say, I think the first one is still my favorite, but this one, definitely tons of character. Let me know. This frame is such a good size at 11 by 14, and it was in the original packaging. I brought it home and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I once created a wreath using a picture frame, and I loved the way it turned out, and I wanted to create a different one, but similar. I'm going to remove everything from it, and then I'm going to take a chippy brush, and I'm just going to dry brush some white chalk paint on it. This is just going to brighten it up. I'm not looking to change the color. I still want to have that original look, but just brighten it up just a little bit. So I'm just going to add a little bit of paint in my chippy brush, and then dry brush it. And once it was dry, I'm going to seal it. We're going to top coat it with this one. It's by Rust-Oleum. It's clear. This is just going to allow it to be sealed because it's going to be a wreath. And if it's going to be placed outdoors, I want to make sure it's going to stand the elements. We're going to bring this pick. This one's from Walmart. It was about $3.45. Really good deal, I think, for the amount of flowers that you get in it. I think it was nice, and I like the look of it. I like the color. So I'm going to cut off all the picks in separate picks, and then I'm going to start stapling it to the bottom left corner of the frame. I'm going to go pick by pick, making sure that I'm stapling it where it needs it. So just kind of play around with it. And just kind of make sure that you start with one that has a bushy look just for as a base, and then just keep adding as you go. And then once I was done stapling and I had the flowers where I wanted them, I want to cover all those staples up. So I'm going to take this burlap ribbon. It's very meshy, very threaded, and I'm just going to hot glue it and just wrap it around that corner, making sure that I am covering all the staples and staying around that corner side. I'm going to secure it in place with some hot glue. This is also going to give me a nice base so that we can hot glue some green flowers from Dollar Tree. Now, you can leave it like this. I think it looks very beautiful just as is with the ribbon, but I do want to add a little bit of color. So I'm just going to take these green ones. Aren't they pretty? So vibrant. I'm just going to remove them from the stem, and I'm just going to hot glue them here and there until the entire corner is covered. All right, so keep in mind that you can do this for any season. This one's particularly for summer, but you can do this for fall. Wouldn't a fall one be beautiful? You can also do one for Christmas. The possibilities are endless. Even Easter, 4th of July, all of them. Love it. This Dollar Tree wreath form is so cute. It has a bunny shape and is perfect for spring and Easter. I'm going to take one of these dusting mobs from Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut it into 4 equal stripes, long ways. Then I'm going to place it what will be the front of the bunny. And I'm just going to start hot gluing, covering the ears. So as you can see, I'm just going to put it underneath, place hot glue, and then just kind of cover it and go side by side until they're fully covered. I wish I would have had more dusting mops to cover the entire wreath, but I did have some of these automotive towels, and they have a very fluffy feel to it. So I'm just going to cut them in strips of about 4 inches, give or take, and then I'm going to start wrapping it all around the base of the wreath. I sped it up for you because I know you know how to wrap around a wreath form. All right, so now onto these carrots. I'm going to do the same thing. This time I'm going to remove the actual greenery part of it, and I'm going to add some of these leafy greens, and these are just more grassy like. Same thing, I'm going to add hot glue and stick them right inside. These look amazing with these faux leaves, and I do have these in my Amazon store, so check them out. They are linked down below. All right, so now I'm going to take some of this yarn. One has a more brownish tone. The other one has a mustard tone. I'm going to wrap 2 of them using these. Just hot glue it in place. I am now going to take some burlap ribbon, and I'm just going to loop it around like an awareness ribbon, scrunch it in the middle. We're going to make a very simple bow, tie it in the center with some jute string, and then we're going to dovetail cut the ends, and then we're just going to hot glue it towards the top of the bunny. I'm going to do the same thing with this striped ribbon from earlier, and I'm just going to place it right in the center of that other bow with some hot glue. And then we're just going to hot glue the carrots to the right side of the bunny. I thought the bow needed a little something something, so I'm just going to add more of those little grassy faux leaves right underneath it, and that's it. We kept it on the simple side, but I think adding those carrots to the right side of it just adds those colors, and I just think it's stunning. For this next spring craft, I am going to take this piece of scrap fabric that I already had on hand, has those yellow tones that I was just talking about. I'm going to cut it in strips, and then I'm going to wrap it around this tiny wire wreath form from Dollar Tree. These are the smaller ones. And I'm just going to start by hot gluing it here and there, and then just adding the strips all around. Again, hot gluing where it needs it. Now I'm just going to cut off any frays here and there just to clean it off. Now, I had this crafting chicken wire that I get on Amazon. It's so much easier to work with. I'm just going to start cutting to make sure that I have enough to cover the center, but not overflowing on the outside. So I'm just going to use my wire cutters, and then I'm just going to attach the chicken wire with some hot glue to the back of the wreath form. I am going to add a lot of glue because I really want this to really stick on. So once I had it in place, I'm just going to keep adding hot glue and making sure it is nice and secure. And then once the chicken wire was fully attached, I am going to clean it up by just cutting off the excess chicken wire. That way it's not sticking out. Then I'm going to add some nautical rope. This is the brown tone one, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the back, kind of like to the back and to the side. That way it kind of has a nice rounded look. And hot glue was plenty sufficient because it's not heavy at all. And then I want to add some florals. These florals are also yellow to complement the nice beautiful color on the fabric. I'm going to cut them in smaller picks, and I'm just going to add them here and there through the chicken wire just to hold them in place, and that way it's just going to look nice and chic and not have to add any ribbon for anything. It's just going to be held by the chicken wire. And that's it for this one. Such a beautiful wreath. It's small, but boy is it beautiful. This cutting board I found recently at the thrift store, and I love that it is solid wood and that the words are not engraved but actually just painted on. So I'm just going to sand it down just a little bit to smooth it out and remove any grime wipe it well, and then I'm just going to paint it a pretty heavy, kind of like dry brush technique. I want the edges to still show that nice wooden tone. I'm not going to paint the sides nor the back. While that dries, I'm going to take this beautiful wreath from Target Dollar Spot. They're $3 each, as well as this decorative starfish that I found in a bundle, and it came 3 in a pack. I am also going to be hot gluing it right onto the wreath form. Now, this is key because the wreath form is so thin. You just want to apply glue right where that starfish is going to touch, and then just hold it for a few seconds until it hardens. Just takes a few seconds, but it will work, I promise. Then I'm just going to add some seashells here and there, doing the same thing, just placing it where I want, kind of looking to see where it touches the wreath, adding hot glue, and then holding it for a few seconds. I decided to add some of these smaller ones just to fill in some of the gaps and just add more character. We're going to put everything together now. This is the cutting board. It is nice and painted. I'm going to smooth it out just a little bit with my 120 grit sandpaper. And then with a rougher one, I'm just going to clean up those edges. Then let's place the wreath. We're just going to place it right around the neck of the cutting board. I am going to manipulate it just a little bit to make sure that it's hanging in place exactly where I want it to be. I don't want to make it narrow or anything. I just want to make sure it hangs nicely. And I'm just going to then place the branches where I want them. This is my favorite from today. I love the way it turned out. So beachy, almost like a relaxed look. For this next wood craft, I'm going to take this wood round. Now, this was not scrap wood. This was from Dollar Tree, but I just thought I'd include it because it turned out so beautiful. I removed the jute string and I painted it yellow. This is a bright yellow by Dixie Belle, and I'm just going to give it one coat and let it dry. Then I'm going to place some tape and I'm just going to make some stripes going across. It's going to look like a pizza, but it's not. It's going to be a lemon. And so I'm just going to paint the little stripes and I'm just going to crisscross them all the way around till I have the shape of a lemon. All right, so we are almost done making these stripes, and then now it's time to add what will look like seeds. I'm just going to take a paintbrush and just mark here and there where I want them to have like it to look like it was seeds. Then we need to make a rim. So I have this bowl. It's a pretty large bowl, and it happens to be about an inch smaller all the way around. So I make sure I centered it as close to the center as possible, and then just painted it white. Now, I don't want full coverage. I did want it to have a little bit of a distressed look. Once I had it completely painted, once I removed the bowl, I was in love with this lemon. Look how cute this looks. Gorgeous. All right, we're going to add some greenery. These are from, I believe these are from Walmart. I'm just going to grab a couple branches, hot glue them to the top, and I'm just going to start stacking some greenery and florals to add texture and character. So we're just about done with adding the florals. I did add some nautical rope from Dollar Tree, the white kind, to the back so that we can hang it. But you can add anything you want to it. And I think this one turned out absolutely gorgeous. What a beautiful, fresh looking wood round you can place outdoors in a covered porch or indoors. I think it would be perfect for any decor. The next Dollar Tree hack, I'm going to take this Love Lives Here wood round sign from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove everything from it, and I'm going to sand down all the glitter that's on top. You can find these pretty much in every season. This one happens to be in their Valentine's collection. Once I had it nice and sanded, I'm going to dust it off and wipe it really, really well. I'm going to spray adhesive, some craft paper, so I'm going to spray it on top. And this craft paper came from a bundle book that I got at, I believe it was Hobby Lobby. And I place it right in the center. And then I'm going to use my rotary cutter to cut off the excess paper, and that way I have a nice smooth edge. To make it even smoother, I am going to sand down those edges using my sanding block from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to do it in a downward motion. This is going to make sure that it's going to be even smoother. Here's the third set of beads that I'm going to use. I love this one. It has that natural wood color. I'm going to use for this one a combination of hot glue and more permanent glue so that I can have a nice strong hold. Once I had it, I'm just going to flip it over and place it right there. Super cute and so easy. All right, so then it's time to bring in some greenery. This is just a combination of a few greeneries that I already had on hand. I'm going to start hot gluing it to the top. All right, so I just continue to add some greenery, and then I'm going to add some pink flowers. I think it really complements the design overall of the sign. So I'm just going to add 3 of them right in the center of all the greenery. Now we need something to hang it from, so I'm going to use some of this burlap ribbon, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the back. It's kind of thick. I wish I had a thinner one, and I guess I could have cut it in half, but I didn't think about it till now. So I'm just going to hot glue it, and then I'm also going to add some duct tape, and this is just going to add more security, and it's also kind of just make it a little bit cleaner in the bag. And I gotta say, this was one of my favorites. I love the design, and that bead ring around the edge is just so stunning. I love the natural wood color, and the colors just complement each other. For the next craft, I'm going to take this Target Dollar Spot wreath form. They have these all the time. They're $3, and they usually have them in different types of greenery. I'm going to remove about 1/3 of the greenery from this one, just on one side. And then I'm going to hot glue those ones that I pulled out in between the ones that are left. That way it's just going to make it look fuller and just nicer. I'm going to take this Dollar Tree hat, and I'm just going to remove everything from it, and then I'm going to start separating some of the strands just like this, and they pull out really easily. Then I'm going to wrap the remaining portion of the wreath form with it. This is going to add texture and just really make it look so pretty. And then it's time to add some flowers. I'm just going to add whatever I have on hand. These are from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to thread them through all the greenery, just hot gluing it in place. This is going to be a wreath form that's going to look very feminine, very gentle, just very sweet. And then I'm going to add some beads. These are some beads that I already had here at home. They're not leftover from the other projects, but you can certainly use any leftover. And I'm just going to hot glue them right there to the little top. I'm just going to put 3 of them. Look how cute this looks. I love it. Headed to Dollar Tree once again, went straight to the Crafter's Square aisle and found these beautiful wooden items, including these planked boards. I grabbed 4 of them and brought them home. I am going to make a faux window. I'm sure you see something similar like this, but I wanted to make it because they just screamed that window. So I'm going to remove the little bead hanging portion, but I'm going to put those to the side because I'm going to come back to them for another DIY. I removed all of them, and then I am going to join each board. Now I'm going to use a combination of hot glue and permanent glue. Just going to put a little bit of each. That way I have a strong hold, but also a fast hold. After I attached all 4 of them together, I realized that some of it did not just hold very well, or at least there was a gap. So I want to cover it up using these flat dowels that I get on Amazon, and I do have on my Amazon store. Don't forget, guys, anything that I say that I get on Amazon, chances are is on my Amazon store. You can also follow me there, and anytime I add any new items, you'll be notified. So I'm just going to start marking and cutting with my miter shears, which, by the way, I do have on my Amazon store as well. And I'm going to start covering up those gaps. Then I decided to just go ahead and trim the whole thing because it just added this cute little touch, and it just kind of brought everything together. And that's what I did. Once I had the window completely built, I'm going to give it 2 coats of Waverly chalk paint in the white. While the window dries, I'm going to take this thrifted wreath. Now, this wreath form is gorgeous. It has like a wire form, and then they covered it in this beautiful grapevine style. I thrifted it a while ago and I just want to give it a new look for Valentine's Day or maybe even spring. I'm going to take these magnolia leaves, little picks that I have. I had them for so long and I keep using little pieces of them. I put one to the top right and then another one to the bottom right. Then I'm going to take some of these boxwood that I get from Amazon and I'm just going to place them here and there just to fill it in. These sunflowers are beautiful. I got them at Home Goods. They were on clearance for $8, three of them. I thought they were a great deal, such good quality, and I love that color. I took one of the leaves and I added it to the top portion, and then I'm just going to hot glue the sunflower white to the center. I realized that the window was not sturdy enough, so I want to give it some support on the back. So I added 3 painter sticks and I stapled them to place. This worked very well. I'm going to take this tiny little hook and I'm just going to place it on the back, making sure that the open side is facing downward. This is because I want to add one of these jute strings to the wreath form and we're going to hang it so that it is tied on the back of it, just like you see here. And that's it for this one. What a beautiful full window. Did not spend much money at all. This wreath is gorgeous right on top of it. It's one of my favorites. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this wreath form. It is a wire, it is heart-shaped, and it's a pretty good size. I'm also going to take one of these towels from the automobile section at Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut them into strips. If you have fabric scissors, this is the best way to cut these towels. My regular scissors were not doing a good job, but fabric scissors are awesome, and I do have these in my Amazon store. I cut the strips to about 2.5, maybe some of them 3 inches. No need for them to be completely even. I'm going to start wrapping the wreath form all around. There's no magic to this, no special technique. Pretty much just make sure that all the seams are on the back of the wreath form. That way it's going to look nice and clean in the front. Done wrapping it up, and then I'm just going to cut off some of those back little corners just so that it's cleaner. You don't need to because they're in the back, but just so that it's a bit more smooth and clean. I'm going to take these faux ferns from Dollar Tree and I'm going to grab 2 of each color. They have like a lighter color and a dark color, and I'm going to place 2 facing down and 2 facing up on the left side of the heart. I'm going to then take this beautiful flower, also from Home Goods, on sale. I grabbed a bundle, and this one is left over from Christmas, and I just hot glued it right in the center. Doesn't that look so pretty? Then I'm going to take this little grassy picks. I'm just going to take 2 of the little grass, hot glue them to the top, and 1 to the bottom. This is just going to add a little bit of touch of greenery. This heart is stunning. It's definitely my favorite from today. Has such a romantic look to it. Beautiful. I brought home several. And look at these designs. They have every color, every style. And we're going to start with this beautiful bunny wreath form. You can find it at the Dollar Tree Plus section. It has the chicken wire already on it. It is so large and it was $5. I thought it was a great deal. Now, I love to work with chicken wire, but I love to paint it white. If you've never done it, it's a game changer, unless you like that galvanized look. I put very little bit of paint. I'm talking about very little because I don't want it to drip. And I was just dabbing it and painting it around the wire. And that way it just lightens it up. Now, this wooden family sign is from the Dollar Tree fall collection. I had it left over. And at first I thought, let me paint it yellow because it was going to complement the scarf. But this paint from Dollar Tree is not good. So I moved on to my Waverly chalk paint in the white. I'm going to give it 2 coats and I'm just going to paint the top of it, okay? I'm not worried about the sides or in between. Way too much work. I think it looks great just painting the front. So again, I'm just going to give it 2 coats, let that dry. Here's the scarf that we will be using. It's a beautiful style. It has the yellows and the blacks. Gorgeous. I'm going to wrap it around the bunny's neck. And we're going to just simply make a simple bow. That's it. Tie it in a simple bow. And here's what you want to decide what size of bow you want. You can make it large, small, medium, whatever you want. I'm just going to keep adjusting and fluffing as needed. And I'm not going to cut the leftover right away because I want to see how I'm going to design it. I know many of you have said to me, Greenery and flowers do not belong on a bunny, but you know what? This is a wreath form. So we're going to add greenery. We're going to add as many as we feel like it's going to look beautiful. So I'm just going to add these greenery picks from Dollar Tree. We're just going to stick them kind of like behind the bow. And because it's a grapevine wreath, you can just stick them right in. Add a little bit of hot glue for a nice bond. And then again, just add whatever you want. I'm going to take the family wooden piece and I'm just going to flip it upside down and we're going to add some pipe cleaners. We're just going to hot glue as well as tape. This is what's going to hold it to the chicken wire on the bottom. So I'm going to do that on a couple of places. And again, hot glue and tape really works well. I'm going to place it where I kind of want it. I'm going to add hot glue where the wooden piece touches the wreath form. Hold it for a few minutes, then flip it over. Then I'm going to thread the pipe cleaners through the chicken wire and just twist it. Again, this is just going to add nice security and is not going to go anywhere. Cut off the excess as needed. All right, so now we're going to start cutting the scarf. Now that we have everything in place, I'm going to cut slowly until I kind of have what I need and then just adjust as you need it, arrange it. This is gorgeous. This is totally my style. I'm going to keep this one and I'm going to display it in my front door. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with this beautiful pink wire basket. This is supposed to be for organization on your desk or your home, but we're going to use it to create a beautiful wall piece. We're going to move the tag and we're going to take one of these foam balls from Dollar Tree and cut it in half. We're going to poke a couple of holes and then we're going to thread a zip tie from the bottom flat section across the other side, and then we're going to place it on the bottom right corner of the basket. Thread it through the wire and then just tighten it as needed. That's it. Then cut off the excess and now flip it over and we're going to add some moss. This is Spanish moss. Dollar Tree carries them, but this one's from Amazon. I'm going to add hot glue to the foam and place the moss right on top. Add as much or as little as you want. Now we're going to take some more of that greenery and we're just going to start placing it. This is when you can have fun. Add whatever florals you want, whatever greenery you want. I'm just going to add these. I'm not even hot gluing them because it's holding really well. And then I'm going to add some color. We're going to kind of stay in the pink tones to complement the basket. And I'm just going to keep adding as I see fit, removing, putting here and there. Again, just have fun. I decided to add a couple of Easter eggs. Now, you don't have to do this if you want to keep it in a spring theme, but I just thought for Easter it'd be really cute to add a couple of eggs right there in between the flowers. And then I am going to bring in the scarf that we're going to work with. Tell me this is not gorgeous? I love the colors and it complements the flowers beautifully. We're going to cut half of it off and then we're going to loop it like an awareness ribbon. We're going to scrunch it in the middle and tie it into a bow. That's it. We're going to cut off the excess string and then we're going to make a little tie for the bow. We're going to take a leftover pick that is wired. We're going to fold it just like that. And then we're going to place it from the front to the back. And this is what we're going to use to squish it right into all the arrangement into the foam. How fun is that? All right, arrange the scarf as needed. Now, I thought I was done, but I feel like something was missing on that top portion. So I'm just going to add some of these faux fern picks from the Dollar Tree, and that worked great. Love the way this one turned out. I did a similar one for fall, and I thought a spring one would be beautiful using this pink basket. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with this bunny sign. I love anything that has a tag look. And this bunny is so cute. And I realized it was double-sided. What? I didn't even think about that. I didn't see it at the store. We're not going to need the other side, but if you want to keep it, you can. We removed everything from it, including the little tail. And look at this beautiful scarf. You can wear this and really style it really cute. But you can also use it for crafts. So let's get to it. We're going to cut off half of it. No, it was about 24 inches. And then we cut off another little smaller piece. And we're just going to roll it into a size and cut and glue as needed to fit around the neck of the bunny. This is going to be the little scarf for the bunny, okay? So we're just going to hot glue it right there. And then the leftover, we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to loop it like an awareness ribbon, scrunch it in the middle, tie it with some jute string, cut off the excess string and ribbon to make sure everything's nice and even. And then we're going to hot glue it on the left side of the bunny's neck. It's a bit oversized, I'll admit it, but I love it. I don't know what it is about oversized bows on bunnies that I love. All right, we're going to make another cute little bunny tail with just some yarn that I already had on hand. I'm going to wrap it around my finger a few times, remove it, tie it around in the center with more yarn, cut off all the loops open, and then just trim the bunny tail as you need. You can leave it like that. It doesn't matter, but I thought it needed a little larger bunny tail than what it brought. How cute. All right, we're going to add greenery. You can leave it like this if you want to use it as a double-sided, but today we're just going to use this one side. So I'm just going to add some greenery leaves that I had on hand and these faux ferns from Dollar Tree once again, just to make it kind of loop around both sides. We're going to keep adding some greenery and some flowers that are kind of complement the design. Beautiful purples and blues and a little pop of yellow to complement the scarf. Love, love, love this one. Now we want to hang it, so I'm just going to add a small little piece of the yarn in the back. We're going to hot glue it and tape it for a strong hold. And that's it, my friends. This one is so adorable. What a fun way to update this tag. Perfect for Easter. What do you think of this one? Of course, I want to know. Let me know down in the comments. I brought home several of these Easter themed ones. They have beautiful, fun designs you can use. And we're going to start with this wooden flower. You can find these wooden pieces at Dollar Tree pretty much year round. I'm going to remove the sticker because we're going to use the back. I sanded it and wiped it really well. And I'm just going to give it one coat of Waverly chalk paint in the white. But you can use any color you want. I'm going to use one of these wood rounds from Dollar Tree. I use them all the time for crafting and you can find them year round. I'm going to remove the jute string from it. And then we are going to take this beautiful hat. I cut this, I think it was last year during spring season. I'm going to remove this ribbon and the tag. And we're going to stuff that center portion with some craft paper. It's a little hollow. We want to harden it up just a little bit. So I'm going to scrunch up the paper, push it inside, making sure that the back is nice and flat. Flip it over and then just shape it nicely into that round shape. We are going to attach it to the wood round. So we're going to add hot glue all around the perimeter. And this is where it's going to touch that hat. Don't worry about it being completely center. It doesn't matter as long as it's behind it. Tap it. Be careful with the glue seeping through the little holes. The texture and the material of the hat really adheres to the hot glue perfectly. All right, Dollar Tree has these beautiful scarves every spring season. And recently I made a video using these. But I'm going to show you with this one. I'm going to just wrap it around the hat. Okay, very simple. I'm going to make a very simple knot. Now, if you want to make a bow, go for it. I decided to just keep it simple and make a knot. So I'm just going to tie it and knot it. No need to hot glue it. The wood piece is dry, so I'm just going to quickly sand it smooth and wipe it really well because we're going to attach the cling. We're going to add a layer of Mod Podge on the top surface. And then we're going to use this beautiful sun design cling. It's so cute. And we're going to place it right in the center. Then we're going to add one more layer of Mod Podge right over it just to seal everything and just make sure there's as little amount as possible of those little bubbles. We're going to put that to the side to dry. Now we're going to add some florals to the hat. I'm going to hot glue it to the left side of the hat. Just some greenery picks from Dollar Tree. These boxwooks are actually from Amazon. And I'm just going to start adding them one by one. This is going to make it look like it has a lot of greenery, like we used a lot, but really we didn't use much. So after I hot glued them in place, it's time to attach the wooden piece. Here's where things got interesting. I was like, how am I going to add this? So I decided to add a pipe cleaner to the back. We're going to staple it in place. If you don't have a stapler, go ahead and tape and hot glue as needed. Then we're going to drill a couple of holes on the where I want to place it. Just carefully drill a hole and you're going to see them on the back side. We're going to thread the pipe cleaner through each hole and then we're going to pull them from the back and tie it just in a little twisty. Just make sure that the sun is where you want it. Now to cover the back ties, we're just going to add hot glue and tape. This is going to prevent any walls from getting scratched. Then we are going to flip it back to the front and we're going to add pop of color. These florals are from Dollar Tree. I just thought it needed a little bit of pop of color. So we're going to add a couple of them towards the bottom and then one towards the top. Now to be able to hang this, I am going to add another piece of pipe cleaner We're going to hot glue and tape as needed. Now, if you can see, we're going to do it towards the side where the florals are. That's the heavier side. If I add it in the middle, it's going to tilt on me. So you make sure you hot glue it towards the side where the arrangement is. And look how gorgeous this is. I love the style. Love how fresh and springy it looks. Let me know what you think down in the comments. We're going to start with this rainbow sign. It was left over from Valentine's. And we're going to start with this beautiful ribbon and cut strips of 5-inch. Just do as many as you think you need, but you can always cut more if you need more. We're going to fold it in half, glue it to itself, and then hot glue it to the rainbow. And we're going to keep the same shape going around the top and then move our way down with different types of ribbon. And this is what's beautiful. You can use any ribbon you want, even neutral color ribbons. I think some white and beige ones will look gorgeous. But we're going to make this an Easter theme one, or at least spring theme. And we're just going to start again applying them on the top, work our way down. I did overlap the ribbon just a little bit to each other so that you don't see any of the background color. You can always paint the design if you need to. If you don't have this sign, you can always cut it in the shape of a rainbow using cardboard or foam board. So here we're going to use this pink burlap ribbon. Do the same exact thing. Hot glue it to itself, hot glue it to the board, overlap to each other, and overlap to the one on the top. And we're going to do this all around onto the other side. All right, we're just about done with the pink, and then we're going to bring in this Easter one. Again, you don't have to do an Easter theme. You can do whatever color you want. We're going to cut it again into 5-inch strips and do the same exact thing. Now, the closer you get to the center or the bottom, the least amount of ribbon you need, so you don't need to cut as many. Again, we're going to overlap it to each other and overlap it to the one on top. Now, I'm contemplating adding one more ribbon to the way bottom, but I thought I can add something different to add texture and a pop of color. And we're just going to add some nautical rope. Now, the white nautical rope from Dollar Tree you can find year round, and we're just going to give it that rainbow shape. Here's the key. You want to start with as straight as possible first one, because if the first one is tilted, the rest will be tilted. And just keep doing that until the entire thing is covered. I'm going to add another piece of that rope to the back so that we can hang it, and it doesn't have to be super long. You don't even have to add this if you don't want. Now, you know I love some greenery, so I'm going to add little pieces of greenery picks here and there. I don't want to overwhelm it. I just want to add texture and color. So I'm going to add it in between the ribbon as well as the bottom portion of the rope, and then I'm going to add it on the top as well. Now, for an added touch of pop of color, I'm going to add some pink flowers, but you can skip this part if you'd like. I just thought the pink flowers would really complement the overall design of the rainbow. And let me tell you, I think it did. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. This one is definitely one of my favorites, which is probably why I put it first. But I would love to know what you think of it. Let me know down in the comments. For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, we're going to start with an Easter egg shape wreath form. You can find these during the Easter season or the spring season. We're going to also use these 3 ribbons. Now, for Valentine's, I did a ribbon wreath in the shape of a heart, and you guys loved it. I thought, let me do the same and add a different touch of, decor. I'm going to cut strips of this first burlap style ribbon in a 4-inch long, and then we are going to dovetail cut the ends. I'm going to use my silicone silver protector because it works so good, and you can find these at Dollar Tree. All right, so we're going to wrap the burlap ribbon all around the first 2 wire, okay? Now, if you encounter yourself with one of those like middle sections, just make a little slit just like I did this one, and then hot glue it to itself. That's how easy it is. Now you can make these longer. You can make these instead of 4 inches, 5 inch, 6 inch, whatever you want. I didn't want it to be too big, so I want to keep it on the smaller size. So I'm just going to keep wrapping these around all the way around the first 2 wires. For the next ribbon, we're going to use this beautiful Easter themed one, and I'm going to cut it in 4.5 inches and do the same exact thing, fold it and dovetail cut those ends. Now, I did cut several of these. Again, you can always cut more if you need them. Now, I am also going to use this beautiful blue burlap style ribbon, and we're going to do this one first. We're going to wrap the other 2 wires with it. Literally just wrap it around, and I'm going to do that all the way around. Now we're going to take those pieces of ribbon. I did cut them in half. So remember, I cut them in 4.5 size, and then I cut them in half after I dovetail cut them. Now I'm going to flip the wreath to its front. Okay, so the back is facing up, and we're going to hot glue them. Now make sure that the ribbon, as you are hot gluing it, that they're facing down, because that way when you pull it on the other side and you flip the wreath, it's going to look nice and pretty. Again, we're going to overlap each ribbon just a tiny bit, and then we are going to hot glue it all around. Okay, so now we're going to flip the wreath to its back. So now we're going to have it facing forward, and we're going to take a small little, you can use a pencil, a pen, I'm just using a small screwdriver, and we're going to pull those ribbon. Now again, if you find yourself in a spot where you have that middle wire, just make a slit and pull it forward just like that. So I'm going to pull it all the way around. Now you can see the layering, you can see the ribbon that we first used, then that blue, and then this beautiful design right in the center. So pretty, so festive. Now because this is a wreath form, you can add whatever you want. I'm going to add greenery, of course. I'm going to hot glue it in place. These are just ones that I had left over from a project a long time ago. I'm going to add more ribbon towards the top because it's taller, and then a little less on the bottom. But nonetheless, they're going to go on the right side of the wreath. And again, you can add whatever you want right there in the center. I'm just going to add a simple bow. I'm going to make one that is pink, and it's going to be on the smaller size. We're going to fluff it a little bit, tie it with jute string. Then we're going to use that same blue ribbon from earlier, make a larger one, and then tie the pink one on top. And then the leftover Easter themed ribbon, we're going to make 2 bows, like a double loop, and make it a little larger than the rest. And we are going to place it in the back. We're going to dovetail cut those ends because we want to match everything and bring everything together. And then we're going to hot glue it and tie it right there in the center of the greenery. Because this is a wreath form, you can do both, but you can always just hot glue it. That's okay. Tying it really makes sure it's nice and secure. We're going to add a couple of these extra leaves. I just thought it needed a pop of like a brighter green to bring together that ribbon from Easter. Dollar Tree has these little signs for Easter, and I love that it had these little tiny bunnies. I'm going to cut one off, and I'm just going to hot glue it right there in the center. But you can add an Easter egg, whatever you want. You can add florals. The possibilities are endless. What do you think of this one? Let me know down in the comments. These little trees are a must-have for every year. I had this one left over from last year. You can tell it's all scrunched up. So I'm just going to fluff it up as best as I can. The key is I want all the branches and the bristles to be kind of facing down. So I'm just going to straighten them out, fluff them going downwards. And then the large top one, the long one, just going to fluff it down and then cut off the excess so that way it matches. I'm going to take this $1 Dollar General stocking, remove everything from it, and we're going to add some stones. These are some stones that you can find at Dollar Tree pretty much year round. I'm just going to add a few to the bottom so it can be weighed down a little bit. I want the stocking to be a little fluffy, but not too puffy. I just want enough for it to create a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to add 3 bags from Dollar Tree and just kind of flatten it out a little bit, and then make sure everything's looking really good. Now, you see the back branch right there, like the middle stem? I want to put that inside the stocking. So we're going to place it right there. Now, if I just push it down, it's kind of just going to be scrunched up just like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my scissors and make a slit right down the middle. This is going to allow me to place the stem right in there and then place the rest of the stocking kind of like around the tree. This was perfect. Now that I have it in place, I'm just going to hot glue the stockings on the side to each other, so the front to the back. I'm going to do that on both sides, and then I'm just going to hot glue the tree to the back of the stocking, and I'm just going to flip it over and add hot glue. This is going to allow the tree to now be attached to the stocking. Don't be afraid to add hot glue. Just add as much as you can and then just kind of let it harden. Now we're going to fluff the tree and just kind of arrange it in a way that looks nice and organized and is already looking so pretty. All right, I'm going to take these little berries. This is just a little pick from Walmart, and I'm just going to start putting each berry wherever I kind of see fit. Just adding a little hot glue goes a long way. I did this so that it has a pop of color. Now, I do want to add some embellishments, so I'm going to add these glittery picks that you can find at Dollar Tree. I'm going to add 3 of them, 1 to each side and then 1 in the center. And then I'm going to take some cute little glittery ribbon from Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree has so many ribbons currently. This one is a very, very beautiful one. I'm going to make a multiple loop bow, scrunch it in the middle, take a pipe cleaner in the red and just kind of twist it. I'm going to cut off the excess pipe cleaners, fluff up the bow as much as I'm able to, and then I'm just going to hot glue it towards the right of the tree. In between the bristles, just kind of nestled in there. Then I'm going to add a cute little glittery flower to the top. Make sure all the little branches are where they need to be so that we can hang this beautiful stocking. I'm going to add the leftover pipe cleaner to the back with hot glue and add some of this faux fur fabric, and then that's it. Oh my word. How stunning is this stocking? One of my favorites from today. What do you think of this one? For the next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take a white one of those trees. They are gorgeous too. You can find them again at Dollar Tree in the same section. We're not going to use the base, so we're going to remove that. And then we are going to fluff it, but not too much. We're actually going to leave it quite close to where it came from. And we're going to hide the larger, longer one at the bottom towards the back. We're going to take one of these Santa hats from Dollar Tree. Now, my daughter did a craft recently with one of my hats, and she left over this tiny little top portion, and I thought, this is perfect. So I'm going to place it right inside. I'm going to hot glue it as much as I am able to the front and the back. We're just going to make sure this little gnome Santa is not going to be losing its hat. So we're going to do the back and front. And because it is like a plastic tree, it does add, or it does adhere very well. All right, so now we have the beginning of a beautiful, cute gnome. So we're just going to fluff the beard as we are able to, just until it looks nice and pretty. Here's a faux fur that came with the original hat, and I kept it also. And I'm just going to cut off a strip, a nice rectangle strip. And then before we do attach that, we want to grab one of these Christmas bulbs. You can find these at Dollar Tree pretty much every Christmas season. I'm going to grab one of the glittery gold ones, and this is going to be the gnome's nose. Of course, we need a nose, and it's got to be pretty extra large. So we're just going to hot glue it in the middle, and then just kind of add hot glue as needed until it's nestled in there in between the hat and the beard. Now we're going to add the faux fur. We're just going to hot glue it towards the top, right there over the nose from one side to the other. Hot glue as needed, and then we are going to cut off the excess with my scissors. Coming along very pretty. The little ball from the top of the hat my daughter used. So I'm just going to use one of these little snowballs that you can find at Dollar Tree currently. And I'm just going to hot glue it to the top. Very easy. Now I feel like it needed something. So I'm going to add a cute little pick that I get on Amazon. And I do have it on my Amazon store. If you like these little tiny ones, they're really good for crafts. And the Amazon store is linked down below. I added a white berry little pick from Dollar Tree and a cute little flower right there just to add a pop of color. And again, we're going to add some pipe cleaner on the back with hot glue and then more of that faux fur just to cover it up. And this one is so beautiful. I've made several gnomes, but this one, I gotta say, is one of my favorites. I love the way it turned out. What do you think? Next, at Dollar Tree Christmas DIY craft, I'm going to take 5 of the green ones. And then we're just going to open them up, kind of like flat on one end, then open them up to the sides, and then fluff them up to the top. And I'm going to do that to all of them. Once I had all trees fluffed up, I'm just going to crisscross them and just kind of make a star or like maybe like a snowflake also. And once I have them in place where I want them, I'm going to take some zip ties and I'm going to zip tie it like you wouldn't believe. I must have added like 15 zip ties because these are thick bases and you just want everything to be nice and secure and not go anywhere. So I'm going to add a zip tie in between each tree, tightening it as best as I can. Once I had all of them tightened, I'm going to cut off, of course, the excess zip tie. And then I thought I need something to kind of make these trees kind of stay with each other sideways. So I'm going to take one branch from each little tree and just twist them together. This is going to allow them to kind of stay together closely and not separate on me. Once I had them nice and secure where I wanted them, it's time to fluff. You want to fluff everything so nicely. Make sure you touch every little branch. Make sure they're facing where you want it to be faced. And then when I was fluffing, I realized that the trees were still moving a little bit too much. So I started twisting some more branches between each other, as well as adding more zip ties until I got it to hold as good as possible. Just make sure you get zip ties from Dollar Tree. They come a whole bunch in a little baggie and they hold pretty well. I just wanted this to be very secure in case it's going to be placed on outside of the house where it could be windy. All right, so we're moving along to this little tiny grapevine wreath that I get on Amazon. And I'm going to add some of these little red berries. I'm just going to place them around the grapevine wreath and I'm going to tie them with some jute string. Once I had the little wreath done, I'm going to hot glue it right onto this home sign that it is from Dollar Tree. It already had this little green vine looking wreath, but it was kind of flimsy, so I just wanted to add something more festive. So I hot glued it right on there. I thought that the middle was a little too bare and you can see through it. So I'm just going to add a couple of these greenery picks from Amazon and we're just going to hot glue them in place. That way when we place the home sign, it's not going to look bare. You're not going to see that part. I'm going to add a lot of glue to the back of the home sign because, again, I want it to be very secure and not go anywhere. And then we're going to place it right in the center. I'm going to hold it down until it's nice and hardened. Then I added some more of those glittery picks from Dollar Tree. We're just going to add them all around the home sign to add color and more festive look. And I also added some silver berries to add more dimension and color. We're just about done with this one. What a huge wreath that you can make for a front door, for a large wall on top of your fireplace. So inexpensive, so beautiful, so big. What do you think? I'm going to start with these blue tones as well as this foam wreath form. You can find these at Dollar Tree year round. I'm going to remove the sticker from it and we are going to wrap both of these scarves simultaneously. We're going to put them right next to each other and we're going to find the center of the scarf and we're going to start wrapping it. Now, don't worry about it being super tight right now. It's all about covering up, making sure that the colors alternate from one to the other. Once you have them wrapped up, both ends of the scarf should meet at the bottom. Then you can start tightening up to make sure that it's not going to slide down. Once you have it tightened at the bottom, take a zip tie and just tighten it really tightly. Of course, you want to cut off the excess zip tie, and then we're going to bring in some greenery picks from Dollar Tree. These have a little bit of a frost look to it, which I think will look great with the style of the scarves. I'm going to use a small screwdriver just to poke holes through the scarves as well as the foam. That way, each pick is going to go in nice and smooth. I did add some hot glue, so they're not going to go anywhere. I added greenery picks to the sides, the top, as well as the bottom. Once everything was where it needed to be and arranged where I wanted it, I'm going to take one of these snowflake arrangements from Dollar Tree. We're just going to use one of them, but I just thought it were very cute. So I'm going to use my wire cutter, cut one of them off, add hot glue to the back, and place it right in the center of the arrangement, just like that. Then I'm going to grab one of these snowballs from Dollar Tree. You can find these in a pack. I'm just going to hot glue it right to the center to cover up that little hole. as well as add a couple of them here and there to the sides and to the bottom just to add a little bit more of that white tone. And we're just about done. What an easy DIY craft you can make, perfect for Christmas as well as winter. What do you think of this one? It's definitely one of my favorites. Love the colors. Let me know down below. This one is an 18-inch evergreen wreath, and I brought home several of those as well as several of these 15-inch tiny ones. For the first project, I am going to take one of each, remove the tag, and then we're just going to fluff them. Obviously, we need to fluff these wreaths. Please do not use them without being fluffed. And my advice is when you are fluffing them, avoid doing this, just spreading them to the sides. Just fluff them in every direction, particularly towards the front of the wreath. But I'm not worried about fluffing them towards the back because you won't be able to see that, and I want all the bristles to be towards the front. I did the same thing on the little small one, keeping the same format of fluffing. Now I'm going to look for where the wreaths are joined, and I'm going to join them both together, just like that. We're going to take some of these garland ties from Dollar Tree. We're going to cut one into 3 pieces, and then we're going to use those to tie these two together. So just put them underneath, bring them from the front, and then just twist. And do the same thing with the other 2 pieces. This is going to join them nicely and tight. Now we have what it looks like a little snowman. All right, so now I'm just going to kind of shape the circles, the wreath in a nice circular shape. And we're going to take some fabric. This fabric is actually from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to fold it into 3s, creating a belt. We're going to create a cute little, like Santa of kind of theme wreath. And I'm just going to want to make a belt for him. So I'm going to fold it and hot glue all the way towards the back. This is going to give me the shape of a belt. And then I'm going to fold it in half, iron it just a bit. This is going to give me right where the center point of the belt is. We're going to bring in this iron-on glittery vinyl. Now, I got this one on Amazon, but Dollar Tree does carry a glittery style vinyl that you can iron on in the vinyl area or crafting area. So now that I have a belt buckle cut off, I am going to iron it on to the center of the belt. And look how beautiful this looks. Oh my word, my friends, gorgeous. All right, before we put on the belt, I want to add a little bit of embellishment right there to the center of the wreath. I'm just going to add a few more greenery picks. This is just going to add fullness and just dimension with the different green tones. I am then going to add one of these poinsettias. They are from a potted kind from Dollar Tree. You can find these during the Christmas season. I removed the potted part, and then I'm just going to hot glue it in the center as well as these 2 red picks. Now it's time to add the belt. So I'm just going to open up a little bit of the bristles where the belt's going to go, wrap it around to the back, hot glue it, and you just want to tug just a little bit, not too much, but enough so that the belt don't fall. And then we're just going to fluff up those bristles right around the belt, making it look nice and pretty. I have this Santa hat that was already here at home, but Dollar Tree does carry Santa hats during the Christmas season, and I'm just going to place it on the top on a tilted motion. And look how cute this looks. And it's actually a really good size. I love this one. What do you think? For the next Dollar Tree Christmas DIY craft, I'm going to take 2 more of the wreaths. Same thing, right? We're just going to fluff them up, and then we are going to actually, instead of putting one on top of each other, we're going to put the small one inside of the other one. That way, it's going to give me a thicker and fuller wreath. Now, we want to join these 2 wreaths so they're not coming apart. So I'm just going to grab a bristle from one side and the other and just twist them together. I'm going to do that 4 times, 1 on each side. That way, it's going to look natural and we don't have to add any ribbon or ties to it. Then we're just going to start fluffing the wreath as if it was one wreath. Just start fluffing as needed. Now, these cute little reindeers are currently at Dollar Tree, and they come in a green and a red, kind of buffalo check style, and I thought it was gorgeous. So I'm going to tag the red one. I'm going to slide right there in between both of the wreath, snuggle it in there, and then pull some of the bristles from the inside to the front. Then I'm going to take 2 of those garland ties from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to place it and tie it around to secure the reindeer in place. And this is just going to look seamless and not going to look like it was added afterwards. I'm going to take some of this burlap ribbon. This is from Dollar Tree. They carry these pretty much year round, and I'm going to make a very simple bow. It may not look simple, but it really is. I'm just going to cut into 10-inch pieces, Now looking back, I wish I would have done 12-inch or even 15-inch, so keep that in mind. I'm going to line it up nice and straight on each end and just cut it off in a dovetail kind of shape. Then I'm going to place an open one, and then a looped one, and a looped one, then another open one, and repeat as needed. So I'm just going to fold it and then face the loop to one side, take the other one, fold it, and place the loop on the other side, and then place an open one, and just keep doing that. Then I'm going to squish it in the middle and take some white jute string and just going to tie it just like you would any other bow. And then you just want to fluff the bow just like you would, again, any other bow, and just fluff in every direction. Once it was nice and fluffed, I am going to then tie it around the base of the reindeer. All right, so now that it's securely in there, we're going to take some more of those red pigs that are beautiful from Dollar Tree. And we're just going to place one on each side with some hot glue. And now I'm going to take the leftover ribbon. This is just one I had left over, a little piece. I'm just going to tie it around the top, and this is how we can hang the wreath. Now I wanted to light this wreath up. Now you can leave it just as is, but these battery operated lights you can find at Dollar Tree currently. As a matter of fact, I did a whole video of different ways that you can use these lights, and I just had one left over, so I figured why not. So I just placed it on the wreath, and look how gorgeous this looks. And the best part is that it's gonna look stunning at night. What do you think? For this next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I am going to take another one of those wreaths. This is the 18-inch one. Again, remove the tag, and again, we got to fluff. There was a lot of fluffing, and I got to tell you something. There were not a lot of bristles falling off of this one. I was pretty impressed. All right, so we did fluff just 2/3 of the wreath and then flatten out the top portion of it. We're going to cover it up with this beautiful red and golden tone ribbon from Dollar Tree, and we're just going to wrap it around from one end to the other, again leaving about 2/3 exposed. Once it was wrapped and securely in place with some hot glue, we're going to start placing greenery on the top. I'm just going to slide it in between the ribbon with some hot glue, one facing one way and the other one the other way. And by the way, I do get these on Amazon, and you get a whole bunch for a low price. So I really highly suggest you check it out. And it is in my Amazon store. Okay, so these vase fillers you can find at Christmas time pretty much every year. And they come in 3 different sizes, large, medium, and small. And I'm going to start with the larger ones. I'm going to start placing the golden ones towards the center, so on the core of the wreath. And then I moved on to the red one. I'm just going to spread them out kind of here and there, keeping a nice separated look. And then move on to the medium-sized ones. And these we're going to glue to the tips of the bristles. This is just going to add color and fullness and just really make that poinsettia and that ribbon pop with the golden and red tones. This one is absolutely classic. I love it. It is so simple, so easy to make, but what a beautiful wreath. What do you think of this one? For the next Dollar Tree DIY craft for Christmas, I want to take one of these foam wreath forms from Dollar Tree. Okay, so you can find these pretty much year-round, and I always keep a couple handy in my craft room. I'm going to take this beautiful plaid style ribbon, also from Dollar Tree, and wrap it all the way around the ring. We're just going to create a very simple but quite bright, hint, hint, wreath with this one. All right, so once it's completely covered, we're going to hot glue it and secure it in place. And we're going to take this frosted pig. I honestly don't remember where I got this one from. It's been with me for a long time. And I'm just going to separate the different pigs from it. I'm going to poke holes with a screwdriver through the ribbon and through the foam. In that way, we have a nice little hole where we can add a little hot glue and place the pigs right in there. This worked perfectly. Highly suggest this technique. So I did the same thing with every single part of it, and I thought I'd add a couple of the green ones as well, just to add a little dimension. All right, so here's a fun part. I found these laid up trees at Dollar Tree last year, and I had this one left over. It lights up green, which is beautiful. It's battery operated, so I tied it to the top of the ring, and then I'm going to hot glue the ends at the bottom for a secure hold. And then I'm going to take some more ribbon, cut up open halfway, just like you see there. And that way we can spread it through each side of the tree and hot glue it in the back, and this is how we can hang it. I'm going to add a couple of these tiny little picks that I do get on Amazon right on each side, and look how gorgeous. Now you can add something to the top of the tree. I just thought it was perfect like this. What do you think? Dollar Tree DIY craft. I'm going to take this beautiful leaf and it says grateful right on top of a faux leather piece. I'm going to remove the sticker, and it's because there's a reason for it, and I'll show you here in a minute. This little small tiny boxwood wreath, it is one that I got at Target a while back. I still had it here on hand. First thing I did was separate all the little branches and then added this beautiful ribbon. Again, another beautifully designed ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm going to loop it towards the top of the wreath form and hot glue it in the back. Then I'm going to place the wooden piece right on top, and then anywhere where the wreath meets the wood piece, I'm just going to add a dab of glue to secure it in place. All right, so although you can leave this wreath just as is, I'm going to take it a little bit further. I'm going to take a piece of foam and hot glue it to the back of the wooden piece. This is going to allow me to be able to place some picks, some florals, and not be able to have to hot glue everything to the back. You can also staple them, but I thought adding the foam would be perfect. So I'm just going to start adding some florals here and there in the yellow and orange tones just to really fill that wreath form in. Now, again, you can leave it the way it was, but I thought it just looked gorgeous. I'm going to finish everything off adding these bright orange beads. I think they're like berries, and I love the added touch of orange that it gave. You can add this to a cabinet, to a door, or just to a wall. I love the way this one turned out. For the next Dollar Tree DIY craft, I'm going to take one of these pumpkin wreath forms from Dollar Tree. You can find these during fall pretty much every year. Then I'm going to take, to be exact, 6.5 of these nautical ropes from Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to start hot gluing it on one end, starting on the bottom, and then just threading them in and out through each part of the pumpkin. Here's the key. You want to do the opposite side of each row. So if you looped it under in one row, then you want to loop it above it on the next row. That way it alternates and you can kind of see how beautiful it's looking. All right, my friends, if you have not joined my email list, I would love for you to do so. I'm emailed once a week with upload updates as well as any new news from my business. So check it out. The link is down below when you're done watching. All right, I'm going to take some foam core and I'm just going to freehand what will be a longer stem. These little wreath forms have a stem, but they're short, and I just think for something so big, you need something larger. So I just freehanded it with a pencil on some foam core, cut it with my blade knife, and then I'm just going to hot glue it to the front of the pumpkin. Then I'm going to add some burlap fabric. Now here you can be as creative as you want. You can add nautical rope. You can add any other type of ribbon. I just thought keeping it in the neutral color would be really cute. I'm going to hot glue it and then just wrap it all the way around to the top. All right, so now it's time to add a bit of color just to give it that nice fall vibe. I'm going to take this beautiful ribbon again from Dollar Tree, make a very large bow, again loop it like an awareness ribbon, scrunch it in the middle, tie it with some jute string, and then we're going to tie it around the neck of the pumpkin, and then we are going to hot glue it just a bit so it has a little bit more of a strong hold. I'm going to do the same thing again with this beautiful, it's like a wagon wheel ribbon. It's just gorgeous. The colors are so vibrant. Same thing. Awareness ribbon, scrunch it, tie it, and then hot glue it right on top of the other bow. And even more of a Dollar Tree ribbon. These little bows come already made for you. They're so easy. I did remove the little tie from the back and added tons of hot glue and place it right on top. The layering of the ribbon, I think it's so adorable. It really adds a pop of color to this gorgeous wreath pumpkin. Let me know what you think. Next high-end inspiration comes from Michaels, and this is 25-inch fall pumpkin leaf swag. It is gorgeous, so I headed it to the Dollar Tree floral section and just grabbed several picks that I knew would look great to recreate this beautiful high-end look. So I brought several home and now I'm just going to start removing the tags and literally start stacking them on top of each other. I'm not even worried about separating each pick from each large pick. I'm just going to stack them on top of each other and tie them with jute string. I made a loop on one end of the jute string and then just tie them around and around, and I keep facing all of the twigs and all of the picks on a downward motion. I want to add these little pumpkins just like the original inspiration has, and I'm just going to add them here and there. And then I'm just going to add one more pick going on the opposite direction just to cover everything up. I'm going to add some hot glue to the jute string just to tighten everything up, adjust the pumpkins and the florals, and finally add some rope to the top so that we can hang it. And we're just about done with this one. I gotta say, this one is so beautiful. The colors are so vibrant. But of course, I want to show you what the original inspiration looked like. This were from michaels.com. And by the way, I'm going to have all the links from the originals in the description box. And then here's mine. I love the way this one turned out. It's so vibrant. It's so cool looking. But what do you think? So I know there's a ton of inspiration here for you, but I would love to know which one stood out to you the most, which one is your favorite, and I have another video here for you with tons more of DIY crafts inspiration. Check it out. I'll see you later and have a blessed day. Bye.